What's up, everybody?
Welcome, everybody, to our finale episode discussion of The Walking Dead Dead City. And might be some ranting. I'm not too sure yet. We're gonna jump right into the discussion. And joining me, as always, my bestie, Miss Scarlet, back from vacation. It was so weird without you around.
I know, I'm back. We made it. We ventured to space, the caves and beyond. Got inspired by Dolly. Got to see mountains and everything in between. A lot to process, but we're back.
Yay.
I can't wait to talk about this episode. Look, I barely got time to watch it. I got a few things to say. They still did. All right. They half-assed did it towards the end, but it technically doesn't count. It wasn't the flamethrower. And what they did with the flamethrower... But it doesn't count. And what they did with the flamethrowers is a piece of shit cop out again.
I love that.
We're going to get into it. I'm going to really rant about it. But again, I didn't process the whole episode, but I still have some grievances.
Some people just can't be satisfied.
Oh, I'll tell you why they didn't satisfy me. I'll let you know exactly why I was not satisfied. Cop out, stupid, fucking excuse.
There's a lot. There's a lot to pick through. Definitely a lot to pick through. And welcome to our official new third.
You would have never got stabbed. I'm sorry. They used the flamethrowers appropriately. Used the fire appropriately. You wouldn't have got your ass stabbed in the long run. Because you would have been running all fucking gallivanting, chasing motherfucker, trying to be big. I'm sorry, Dan.
Look, you know this was written by professionals.
Yeah, definitely zombie fans as well. 100%. Definitely. Definitely their dream job to write zombie shows.
There was a couple of good throwback moments that I thought were really good. But again, welcome, James. Are you ready?
Hello.
Ready to rant, talk, vent, yell, scream, kick a couple things?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We definitely needed like that head slap, the palm clap moment in that meme where all the people in the audience there was a few moments that I feel like we needed a what were they thinking?
Yeah, I don't know if you have enough people slapping their head in that one shot, even though it's a full auditorium. You need like a full stadium and then zoom out in the whole city.
Right. And welcome to you, Brian. How are you doing this fine finale Thursday night?
I'm doing great. I got a special shirt on today.
Look at that.
To commemorate season 4 of From going into production.
That's right, they did. I saw that today. It was yesterday or today. I seen they posted that recently.
Super hype. Yeah, I saw that post. I was like, yes.
So does that mean we did it within a year?
Maybe we'll be back in the groove soon.
Yeah, not this year.
It was not this fall, maybe next fall or something.
No matter, and guys, we have to remember that no matter what happens with From, whether it has jumped the shark, whether it is even better, anything in between, it is the show that brought us all together.
Exactly.
So we have to always be thankful that From has brought you guys into our little group over here, me and Scarlet.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and we cannot wait to dive into the season with you guys.
Definitely. Oh yeah, and look, man, Brian, we joke about doing some kind of production together, but we may have to do that at some point. We know some other folks too. We're gonna have to get all the people together and figure something out because man, Hollywood's pissing me off.
I'm down. I'm ready any day. Let's go.
James got the music covered. We know a few artists that are pretty good. You never know. We have a whole book series. Dana's a pretty good writer, I think. So yeah.
Okay. Let's get it going. Let's get it right.
I got some animation. I got some fields and some woods.
Hell yeah! See, oh shit, that's right. You got location, and I know Kate out there in the chat. She knows some locations too. She knows some people.
I got a $2,000 camera or something like that.
Shit, you hear that, Kate? We got a camera. Shit, she got a location too. We got a couple locations. How about that?
And I'll even reach out to my baby cousin who does all that monster facial stuff because he works at haunted houses like all year long and he can make monsters.
Nice. I know a few people.
See, whenever we play our cards right, we might be able to work something out. How about that?
Definitely work on something.
But no, I mean, this episode, was it the worst of the season? No, but it just once again, I feel like was a jumbled, babbled mess. It was just all over the place, and there was things in it that I just how like even I finally watched your breakdown video, James, and you were right. How the fuck did they have all those zombies underneath
under the
fucking
table?
table?
Oh,
And you didn't hear a peep.
Excuse me.
Peep.
How they even get them in there? How did they not smell? How did they not make sounds? Like, and then the smell of the gasoline all over the pews. Like, there's so many layers. Bruegel had to know he was going into a trap. There's so many layers of stupid in that scene.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know
you're
you're bringing up the screenshot.
The guy played
the
guy played the organ. The guy played the organ up
everything.
to the point, so it's supposed to like have overdid the noise, overcome the noise of the walkers. That was the plan, because Negan looked up and stopped the organ right as he flipped the table, pretty much. So, that was the idea in the writing. It just, it just didn't make sense because there's so, like Brian said, so many other things,
And if it was that loud, wouldn't they have been like yelling to talk to each other, if it was loud enough? But
that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I understand what you were trying to do, but it just broke apart like in 12 different ways.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that the organ playing was what was supposed to muffle the sounds of the zombies?
Yeah, that's not even my biggest gripe of this whole what the hell is going to unfold in this shit show. That's I got over the fact that they muffled the sound. Like, that's fine, they had them hidden. They both had their own Trojan horse going on, because you could definitely tell the tension. Both parties, Negan and other dude, knew that this was like a showdown.
Yeah,
they knew it. Like, it was the tension was like, it was like both parties. This was their final showdown.
But he's walking straight into a trap, and he knows it because
that's why he had exactly.
He could have a better ambush. Like, there's a balcony up there. There's all these guys. They already had the
and
flamethrowers.
Negan had him. They had this set up for Negan and his guys that they should have laid waste to them within seconds. What a fucking waste of flamethrowers and zombies. All right. When they finally, I was kind of cool. It was like, okay, they flipped the table. I kind of knew they were getting ready to do that. They were tripping them out. When he flipped the table and the zombies came out and they did the show of the flamethrowers, I'm like, okay, let's see what they do, right? You're going to tell me that instead of putting the gasoline on the zombies, you decided to put it on the pews on either side of these motherfuckers? You could have flamed the zombies and the zombies would have walked into them. And then why were you not flaming fucking dudes in the middle that were there? What in the point was flaming the fucking pews? What the fuck?
Just for aesthetics. Just for aesthetics.
Stupid. You could do it to the zombies. That'd be
the idea is to funnel them into this one area, like bottleneck type of deal.
It was stupid.
Guess. It's stupid.
It was a waste of cool fucking effects that you could have done. If they're going to do stupid shit anyways, why not? And we're going to have to disbelieve everything, right? Because like you said, we have to believe that you muffled the sounds. We're going to already do all the stupidery fuckery anyways. Then why can't we just set the zombies on fire and have the zombies walk into them and like corral them with the fucking zombies coming in on
budget?
The zombies are on fire.
James said budget. They were
always
broke.
But we have in our budget to set the pews on fire, and then we still set a zombie on fire and one other dude on fire. And did you notice that the guy, the living soul that got set on fire, he just kind of was like, oh no, I'm on fire, I dropped to the ground. Whereas the zombie put on more of a fucking performance than that dude did.
But still not much.
Drop and roll, man. Come on, I learned.
No, but the zombie, at least he did a slight walkabout. Was like, blah, 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 boosh. This guy was just like, dead.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He didn't even walk. He could have at least walked down the aisle like a fucking flaming bride and fell to his death. Where? All right, I get budget, James, but where's the theatrics? That doesn't require budget. That's acting.
That guy was not acting.
This piece of shit. And then look, I like the fact that the one dude died the way he did. It's the only thing I liked about this episode was that Negan got to do what he did to him. But at what expense?
That was good. It was good. I give it that.
Expense? Because he could have just went ahead and killed and massacred all these little motherfuckers. Then he wouldn't have had his guard down chasing around the old boy where fucking Maggie gets to come in. Oh, I'm just gonna come in while I'm watching all this shit. Bye, one little stab. But now we're all fucking best friends. I didn't mean to stab you. What the fuck are we doing?
Dude, oh,
I'm sorry. I can't.
I could go on a rant.
Y'all cannot get me to watch another season of any Walking Dead. I didn't even fucking watch the original. I refuse, Dana.
You don't understand how that's extra stupid if you get all the context because it's like they've done that 3 times.
It's stupid. I don't even understand
get stabbed.
Oh,
that
I can't.
Was just it was. Yeah, it was another.
It was so showy.
I can't believe y'all didn't understand that.
All this showiness for Negan. And trust me, Negan didn't need to do all that showy. This was cool. He could have done this in that room where they had the zombies and the pews on fire. He could have cornered his ass and did this in there where he had the advantage as opposed to in the catacombs where they're fucking going to lose a dude, get chased around. You don't know who's fucking coming. And then Babylon. Oh, yeah. Fucking Babylon's here, people. Did we forget? Oh, Babylon's here. Oh my god.
No, but the whole point,
man. Oh my god.
The whole point of the catacombs was to have Maggie overhear that scene because that scene is how he killed her husband in the original comic book. He did the whole
throwback.
Meanie.
But he's a bad guy. I get that it like triggers her, but she realizes that guy deserved the fucking death he got, right?
So that was just to show the PTSD of Maggie kind of overhearing that and almost kind of giving her, I think, that little boost she needed to actually stab him.
He was already going to stab his ass. Her little boy sent her out there to go fucking
She's
stab
had
him.
plenty of
She
opportunities.
didn't do it until Pearlie was on the Negan was going to kill Pearlie.
I don't know. She was trying to get her son back. She even had to do that whole spiel at the end with her boy talking all that shit. And then he still fucking, get the hell out of here, Mom. Fuck you. I'm fucking throwing a tantrum.
I never want to see Herschel again. I never want to see.
Am I not somewhere accurate with this shit? I mean, I know I don't know the backstory, but I'd be goddamn.
I'm sorry. Somebody smack him already.
In my fucking my coffee right now because this is boring as shit. The only moment Negan had, they just would have taken that moment and put it in a different room and then not let Maggie stab his ass.
Yeah, that moment was definitely the one bright spot of the episode. Just the cool effect of but even in that moment they still kind of mess it up because Bruegel just is like, yeah, I'll take that in my mouth, sure. He didn't fight it or anything. He's like, yeah, ooh, yum, methane, I love it so much.
And then I thought when she stabbed him, right, and she grabbed the bat, I was like, oh no, hell, this is Negan's last moment. I was like, what the fuck? So now she's new Negan?
No,
what is this shit? I legit thought that. I was like, oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. Pause. No, rewind. They're besties now.
Well, see, that's the thing with The Walking Dead. They do certain things. They reuse storylines and everything. But the big thing about that is, okay, they can take a frame of her picking up the bat and now everybody's going to talk about it. What does it mean? All the shows and series do that in different ways to try to get marketing out of the YouTubers and theories going and all this stuff. But The Walking Dead just does it in a way, again, to say F you fans, in the worst way possible. They do stuff like that, which isn't I knew, I don't know if everybody else knew, but I knew she wasn't going to kill Negan with it. I mean, that's just not what they do. They tease us like that with something that will never happen. That's just what they do. Yeah.
I thought they were pulling a woke moment there and let her take Negan out and her become new Negan of the fucking New York.
That would have been a better episode, probably.
That would, it would have.
But they can't kill off they're.
Well, it just pissed me off how it's like, because she was there the whole time, he didn't even notice her, and he notices every fucking thing creeping around a goddamn corner. It just the whole setup for how she was able to stab him. I don't know why it pissed me off, but it pissed me off. I don't know what it was about it.
That's valid.
And I'm not saying I didn't want her to stab him. It just was it was so weird.
He got stabbed in the spine too. How is he walking at the end? Right in the spine.
Right? He still got the fucking knife in his fucking side, right? And they find out that the girl is now a zombie and he has to kill her. And they're having this whole moment, which I'm sorry, it is a heartstring moment. I could give two fucks less. I apologize for my non-sympathy to the moment. And the fact that he's got a knife in his side and he's dying while they're trying to decide who's going to kill this child. And I get it. And then on top of it, all three of those main people right there, right, did all this fuckery to save this child. It just fucking became a zombie.
Yeah. Well, the whole premise of this episode, I already am out at the beginning because like Negan, like his whole season has been, I need to get my family back. I need to protect them, and then he sends them away, and then like this whole Ginny thing was really contrived because he wants to kill all these people to protect her, but if he just gave Bruegel the methane, they wouldn't kill him and they would just go about their day. Like I don't see any tension or any need to go killing all those people for no real reason at all. Like, why is he even still in New York at this point? I'm already out. Like,
the main goal, which was to kill New Babylon. That was my goal.
Yeah, like, but who cares? Who cares about New Babylon? Like, just leave.
New Babylon is an asshole, and they deserve to die at this point for all their stupidity.
Yeah, but it's like they're not even worth the effort.
No, because you notice how they just seem to be like a damn cockroach, where it just, no matter how much you think it's gone, fucking, I don't know what to describe it as, but it always seems to pop up and irritate the shit out of you. It's like a fucking pest. You think you got rid of the little fuckers, and then all of a sudden there's a whole fucking horde of them. Right? Out of nowhere.
That dude's got like welder gloves on or something.
Right.
Ain't no way.
A rat motherfucker. Yeah, get him, Dana.
What are the odds?
Get him, Dana.
What are the fucking odds that you're gonna bust through a door and not shoot everybody who he like just happens to stop in front of this guy? Like, who are you? State your business here. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No, you're cocking your fucking shotgun and you're shooting them both. Like, you ain't taking no fucking chances. Yeah. And he just says he's from New Babylon, and you're just like, okay.
I accept that. Yeah.
Lame, right?
Like,
and the whole point of his character is just to get to this point where he reveals their location or something. Like, there's no purpose to this character.
They made his character so flip floppy. Who the hell knows? And real quick,
we have to give it to James. He gets the standing O because you fucking called it when you were like, we are going to get some one liner from fucking the Dama about how she fucking escaped, and that's just going to be it. We're going to go.
Okay. No attempt to explain it at all. Nope. Oh, I found it. There was one of the dead ones. Blah blah. It's like, whatever.
And real quick, Dana, just welcome How Dear, Bone, Kate, and the Shookie, all you guys in chat.
Hello.
Welcome everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hearing us like just go off.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah,
look,
it
was right out of the gate too, boys. Scarlet's like,
cracking her fucking walnut.
I guess Herschel,
y'all already know it's hard enough for me to watch something like this, and then it's the delivery, right? They set this shit up and it just falls flat. Like, I'm like, who in the hell is writing this shit? Like, I get it. Okay, the death of the dude, I actually appreciated it. I just didn't appreciate how they set it up and where Negan ended up and how they did this weird circle back around. And I get it was so that Maggie could feel her PTSD moment. But she was already like, you could have done some things and pushed her. Like, if the stabbing of him was going to they were going to be friends in the end, did she have to do the fatal blow? Could they have battled it out and then him grabbed her up and been like, Maggie, I'm sorry. Look, the girl's in the other room. I tried to save her. No, she just comes and then she has that weird fucking look in her eye, like, oh, I did it. Like, she's just like invoking something inside of her, but it was like kind of weird. I don't know. It doesn't hit for me.
The Negan getting stabbed thing already happened last season. We end last season with like, oh, they're finally going to have their real showdown. And then this whole season, the most contrived way of getting Maggie back into New York City, the contrived way of getting Negan into New York to stay in New York City as well. And then they have the same exact ending as before, where she stabbed him in the chest last season. Now she stabs him in the back. Negan already got stabbed and survived by Rick in like the season 8 finale of the original show.
Got his fucking throat slashed.
Yeah. it's this constant repetition of like, oh, we need to show symbolically Negan getting retribution for the things he did. We need to show it physically, and like they just keep doing it over and over and over again. And it's just this whole season went in a big circle. We ended up right back where we started, and I still felt that way about season 1, even though I like season 1 better. It was still like we still ended up at the same place where there's this uneasy truce between them that was already there at the end of season 11. So it's just we're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I just can't do this anymore. I can't watch this show anymore. I can't do it.
Right? What's the definition of insanity?
Yeah. Yeah. And every time they do it, it gets worse and more diluted. You know, it's not like they execute it in a way that is good. Like you can repeat storylines and do it in a different way, but here it's just every time they do it, it gets worse.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a regime change anytime soon at the TWDU.
Yeah,
which
maybe
sucks,
there should be,
because I just did a video on something that Scott Gimple said, and it just adds to the overall why the Walking Dead universe could be so great but is so sucky, is because, like Scott Gimple said, oh well, you got to think of the timeline more like a dream, like a thing. It's very fluid, because the reporter asked, oh, so Dead City is a few years ahead of everything, and Scott Gimple stopped him right there, and he said, let me just butt in right here. I don't know if that's exactly true. And the reporter's like, what do you mean? Well, people may say, well, look at Herschel, and I would say, look at Carl. And I'm like, what? That's two totally different fucking things, man. And
just hearing you say that makes me want to scream and run in circles.
Oh, it's
bashing
just
my head against my fist against my head. Like,
I mean,
insane.
I said in my video is that's like Scott Gimple sitting across from you, looking you in the eye and going, fuck you.
You're stupid, and you're giving me money still. Like, that's what he's saying. Yeah, I guess it's true. I guess I am stupid for watching this. I guess I am stupid for believing that there's a chance that next season's better. Like, I guess I am stupid for continuing to watch.
Yeah, if they didn't fire the Fear the Walking Dead showrunners all the way through to season 8, if they didn't do that, we should have realized. There's no hope.
What's up, Chris? Sorry.
You're so right about that.
I was checking on my fishies.
And the first season of this was pretty good. It was okay, at least. And Daryl Dixon season 1 was okay. I was like, all right, maybe they're shaping things up. And then we're right back to the worst quality.
We were very critical of Ellie in The Last of Us about how she gave like no depth to that character and was very one note. Well, I am sorry. Fucking Herschel makes Ellie look like an award-winning fucking actress, because this kid has literally looked the same in every situation, every facial expression. He's so one tone, and it irritates me.
Maybe I don't know. I still feel like the cast here is better overall. It's the writing.
It's not even the kid's fault. Like, I feel bad for the kid, honestly.
Like, I feel like it's the writing on this one, and that I don't know. I'm gonna go back. I need to rewatch this episode, Dana, and really focus in on his particular, what you're talking about with him in particular.
It's like you're confronting your mom about, Negan being the one who killed your dad and all this stuff, and he literally he looks like he's just yelling with, like, I don't know, like, I didn't feel anything like he's really giving it to his mom, because, like, you get that. Like, she is walking around with the dude who literally bashed in your pops' head. Like, that calls for some being pissed off, but it was like he just kind of stomped his feet, and like that was it. And that he did a couple, like, there was nothing to the moments that we should have really felt for them and their history and what the kid, but then to go to this old lady, like, it's just, I don't know.
Lady.
Dude, like, I can't.
Part of the problem is this kid, it's the same conversation he's having in every episode with Maggie. Like, we get the point.
Yes, you're pissed off. We understand it. Now you've run to this Dama lady and, like, I don't know.
Who's
It's just
useless, worse than useless.
This fucking storyline is just so dead, and
nobody has an army.
And
I mean, the New Babylon has an army, but she doesn't anymore. And does Negan even have anybody left? It's like, you know, it's the what the hell?
New Babylon wins.
Next
I guess they won. That's who cares?
I'm so mad that they killed him. I think
he
would have been a better fucking villain. Like, I don't want to see the Dama no more. I don't give a shit about the Dama. This, like, I would have loved to see Negan and them like something like battling for the turf of the city. You know what I mean? Fuck New Babylon. Who gives a shit about the methane? Because at the end, you sent away the one guy who created it and knows what to do. So are you even going to be able to maintain that fucking methane, Negan? Like,
no.
Are you some fucking physicist person with a big old brain that could just go down there and figure out and reverse engineer like what he did? No, you're just gonna have a bunch of dead zombies and you're not gonna know what the fuck to do with them.
Exactly.
So who gives a shit about the fucking methane at this point?
We don't even really feel the urgency of like why this methane is necessary. Like maybe if in New Babylon we saw like, oh, here's all the people that like need healthcare at this hospital and they need electricity so we can do the surgery, or like we needed to feel some emotional weight behind the need for this methane, but we really don't. Like I'm just like, why do they don't need it? It seems like a luxury from where I'm standing.
Yeah, it feels like they're terrorists, like they're the bad guy for you know, just for wanting it.
It's like a weapon of mass destruction or something like that. Like
and since they were going to kill this girl, I have a feeling that they knew they was going to kill this girl. They should have done this before the whole episode even started, because that would have at least given Negan some real kind of fire in his belly. Like he's out for just
something.
He lost this little girl and whatever, and then Maggie comes in and he like, that's why I lost it. Like, I'm not just going back to my old ways. I lost her, and it kind of set me down this. I would have respected that more than Negan just doing his eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing so we could pull Maggie into the situation to be able to stab him and finally build up the courage to stab him somewhat again. But it's more like meaningful because he's doing his eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing with the bat, and, you know, Maggie's twitching in the corner. Like, they wasted this. They wasted this, because that could have been Negan's motivation to why he kind of just like that switch in him kind of flipped back off and he went down his path of the sanctuary again because he was so distraught over losing this little girl. And then Maggie stabbing him and then they come together like, we've just been manipulated by everybody in this place. Like, and if they were going to bring them together to be, you know, best friends again, at least that would have been writing that we could have understood, instead of just this jumbled mess of like this wasn't a cohesive episode. They jumped back and forth. It was all over the place. And we're right back to, like you said,
square one. Like
Herschel and the Dama.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if this is where we were going to go the whole time, then just talk about them. Why are you bringing in Grugel and these other people that were like, oh, those are cool, and you're just killing them off left and like?
It's just filler at this point. Grugel, I think, had the most potential, but they ruined his character with this episode, with him being stupid enough to fall into that trap. I mean, at least he had somewhat of a plan with the swords and whatnot, but that's just not enough to really make up for that. And the Dama was never an interesting character to begin with. It just doesn't work. She's not intimidating. She's not particularly interesting.
No, she's not.
Yeah, and even like what they're doing in this episode, where they have Maggie in this, they're in the New York Times skyscraper building, and you can tell the writers aren't thinking anything through, because like they're eating nuts. They don't even have running water. Like, there's no.
Where the fuck are you getting walnuts in the apocalypse in fucking New York City? There's no fucking nut trees just hanging about. Like, where the fuck are you getting walnuts?
There's nothing to scavenge. There's, you know, they're probably like pooping in the other room down there, and it's just like the whole place reeks. Like, it would not be pleasant to just live there and stay there. Like, I don't know what they're thinking with that. They're just like, oh, New York Times, that's cool. People recognize that. It's like, no.
Right? Here, let's give them the Statue of Liberty again, just in case they forgot about it.
Yeah,
and
during the
opening
corniest
skyline of the
Gimple
city.
speak. Like, did you guys think that this was like a parody of Gimple speak? Like, a lot of people talk about Gimple speak with the flowery philosophical speeches in Walking Dead and stuff. And I am somewhat like of a defender to an extent where at least most of the time with those, they have an actual like concept and an idea. But this one was just so stupid because it was just like, one, they're taking turns doing a monologue to nobody. And they're also saying like, oh, you reach a fork in the road, and then on the left is your past, and on the right is your future. And you have to go to the future with your past. So you have to go both directions. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Oh, it was so nauseating. Okay, James, tag, you're it. Go.
Well,
Come on, give it to us.
I appreciated the visuals of the episode, and I thought the acting from that one guy wearing the leather in the background in that one shot did pretty good. But
So
yeah.
10 out of 10, right? Perfect episode. Amazing.
I mean, the one time I know that I laughed out loud, that I like, I don't know if you guys ever like actually really do laugh out loud, and you think to yourself, I just laughed out loud, or whatever, is when she looked off the edge of that balcony thing after they saw the boat in the water, and there were like 200 canoes or something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Maybe. Funny. Yeah. See how they're strung all down the beach? There's a whole shit ton of them.
It's so stupid.
And then the guy's like, was that boat there before? What? You're the lookout. Like, you're the fucking lookout. The lady was staring at the ocean or the harbor, the Hudson. Like, are you kidding me? You missed that big old fucking boat? Like, what the fuck were you looking at, lady? Like, what were you doing? You're the fucking lookout. And she's just like,
where did the bombs go? The bombs in the river just disappeared, I guess.
Yeah.
But you got
I've already mentioned enough. Again,
it was a one-time
Babylon
thing.
Is here. We're just all, again, like the pests that they are, just all of a sudden a horde of Babylon just sneaks up the river.
If he hadn't kicked out the Croat would have been on top.
Where's
of
his ass at too? I know we seen him last episode, but I kind of forgot. Look, it's been a long week, so I forgot. We left him off there in the fucking tower somewhere, right?
Oh, he's going to be in Daryl Dixon season 3.
Oh, 100%. He's going to Spain.
Him,
sure.
Mommy dear,
on his way to Croatia,
and Babylon are left, and then we got our trio kind of hanging out. Who knows what the fuck they're going to do? Old kid's dead. Herschel and Mommy ain't gonna be able to play no more because he's with other Mommy. And this guy,
the constantly shifting allegiances, man. Oh my God. He doesn't want to be there either. He's like, can I go home?
Dana, it's not his fault. He's struggling with his character. I would struggle with that character
Is he on
as well.
Drugs? Yeah. I would have at least.
He may have to be. Dana, in order for him to have to pull off this character, you might be onto something. He may have to be, because if I had. Maybe that's what's wrong with Hollywood with these poor kids. They give him these horrible fucking roles, and God damn it, they may have to have a few drinks or something to deal with
in New York City. So they got to have an abundance of weed, because that is.
I'm trying. Look, you get me started. I can't stop talking. I feel bad because I know James, you guys want to say shit about this episode. You probably have better things to say about it. You guys in the chat. Anybody else who has watched this episode, please let us know your rating, your favorite moment of the episode. I would ask your least favorite moment, but that might take a long time. So just go ahead and let us know what your favorite moment is. We'll get through that a little bit faster, and what you're looking forward to for the next season. What do you think is going to happen? Where do you think we're going to start off?
3. There's
Rick's gonna show up.
Look, where are we at? All right,
Rick's
let's
gonna show up.
recap.
Glenn's coming back from the dead.
End of the episode, Dana.
Glad to be there.
Where are
Glenn's
our
gonna come back
at?
and also stab Negan in the back.
Well, let's recap it. Where are our characters at now at the end of this season, Dana? Let's start with Herschel. He is with the Dom, right? And they're sculpting their new future of the world, whatever the fuck that is.
They're gonna get kidnapped or killed by New Babylon almost immediately.
We got New Babylon and all of their forces, but they're stupid, right? We seen what happened when that little bit of New Babylon came in on them. And
there's such potential with the Herschel thing where like all Maggie has to say is like, hey, your dad wouldn't want to kill Negan because like Glenn was a peacemaker, right? That's like who his character was.
True.
Who would not want to kill Negan of today? And that's the end of it. Like, I'm honoring your father's memory by keeping Negan alive because he's a different person now. You know, and like, that's all. That's a good scene right there. Just write that out.
And the harsher punishment would be a life living with those type of mistakes. That is definitely something Glenn would say. He is definitely the person. But now he because even when they in the original series when they killed all those people from the sanctuary at the outpost, like Glenn was even the only one there. Like he only shot that dude because he got shot at first. And he really didn't want to, but once he saw those pictures, the Polaroids on the wall, and those guys then in turn became like sick fucks to him, Glenn went the fuck off. And he was like, let's go. These people are horrible.
But even yes, then, he was struggling with it too. Like he still didn't want to do it. He was. Yeah.
He still didn't want to do it, but at least that gave him the almost like, okay, this is justifiable in a sense. So yes, he would, if Glenn were alive, he would definitely not kill Negan. If roles were reversed and Maggie were the one who died, Glenn would definitely
100%
be that way.
Yeah, and it would actually be a beautiful scene if they wrote it right, you know, and explain that, like explain to Herschel who his dad actually was, you know, and not just this abstract figure that he never really knew, you know, and it would be amazing. It really would, but they can't do it. They just need to have the same argument in every episode, and then he's like just a little shit that everybody hates. Like, I don't know, it doesn't go anywhere. I can't.
They just I mean, all that stuff you guys were just talking about sounded logical, and that's not something the writers' room at Walking Dead.
We don't do that
headquarters.
Here. Okay.
Yeah, Walking Dead headquarters. That shit don't happen there.
I would sit down at that writer's table and be like, "You're fired. Leave."
So like, where everyone's at, like, where do we think they're going to do this next season? Because they basically have massacred all of the main factions that they had going on.
What hand does Dama have to play? The only one I can see kind of is actually joining New Babylon.
Maybe. I mean, they
still
have
does Negan have any people?
Who else has mommy issues that she can manipulate? Like, that's literally
Negan and them are very smart, right? And if they're desperate, it depends. I don't know. Like, again, I don't know where they're all going to stand with New Babylon and where the people of New Babylon that have come in now, because the mayor lady's gone, that general lady's gone, like all of those individuals that were friction are gone. I don't know what this new group of New Babylon is going to be like, right? Like, are they going to be more willing to work with the people here to kind of, I don't know much about New Babylon.
And will Pearly be an inside guy?
For the record, Scarlet, we don't know much
here's
about
my question.
Negan's not going to show his face.
What's going to happen when they start, right? Because we know New Babylon's sort of coming in as trying to take what's there right now, but I doubt that the Dom and even the Croat is just going to still give it up freely. They're not, you know.
Yeah, it seems like Negan can't show his face.
Advantage in a way with
Pearly can. Pearly can get back with New Babylon and be like an inside man.
They know stuff about the land, right? Because they've already proven how, like, they've already taken out New Babylon just because of homeland advantage. I doubt that they're the way this show works. And the way they had traps, remember, in that little head or secret hideaway that the Croat had, they had set up all these traps, right? All right, so come on.
Do that with the methane, right?
Come on, listen. You know they're gonna explain how they did it. They're gonna have some fucking shit set up, and they're gonna welcome. Oh, come on, New Babylon. Yes, let's have peace talks, and a big ass explosion or some zombie thing. They're gonna throw a zombie at them. I don't know. Make it up yourselves. They do it in the break room somewhere. I'm assuming they write this in the break room and they just throw like the spoon from their coffee cup, you know, and they throw it at the ideas on the wall, and wherever the coffee cup or spoon sticks, that's the idea they go with.
And the ideas are all just past episodes of Walking Dead.
Yeah. Well, there's one side of the board is they pull
in his idea as well. It gets thrown in there,
every time.
And it just, man, every department gets their say.
Yeah.
Horrible.
No,
but it's like, here's my question. So New Babylon comes roaring back in. Did somebody get away? Did somebody get them a message? Like, I know they would know that their like group didn't come. They would get some, but it was awful quick that New Babylon was just be able to bust down the door. Like they knew where they was going. Like, how did they know to go up there? Like, who? It's
Yeah,
fucking New York
that's a
City.
great question.
Like,
everybody's dead
like,
or like not there to
you
explain
mean
like
to tell
where
me
the
you
bombs came from.
searched? Right, you searched every fucking. But how would you know about bombs? That would mean that somebody had to get a message back to, because they just strolled on that big old boat. It was because the stupid lady lookout wasn't paying fuck attention, so they were able to stroll on in and do like get their little rowboats to the shore. But how would they even know? Like, did the dude just happen to pick the right building and was like, yes, Lady Luck is on my side, and bust down the door and it just happens to be, you know?
Right. Well,
Like,
was it the dude that they
point.
killed on the last faction that they killed there in the whole massacre weird church thing? Did he send a signal out to New Babylon? He was talking as if he had known some shit about New Babylon, but they didn't make it clear how there was some weird communication to the outside forces of New Babylon. I feel like I need to rewatch the episode. I missed something about communications that we did. I don't know.
Well, after fear, we know that they have radios and they can go massive, like states across. Like you can just call anybody on the radio at any time. It's totally fine.
Because that dude called New Babylon walking in. The guy that got killed with the I forget his name. I didn't remember these characters' name.
It was Bob. It was Bob.
Yeah, the Dracula looking dude with his zombies.
So it's like it makes
something. I'm trying to remember what he said in the episode about New Babylon, where he was hinting at like they was coming, and that we already knew they were coming.
Holes.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of plot holes for sure.
I got to rewatch the episode. Actually, I don't have.
But you're right, James. It's like we're sitting across from Gimple, and he's just like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up and watch. You don't like eat our episodes." And we're just sitting there like taking them like.
Yeah, he said, another thing he said in that interview is that these two shows, Dead City and Daryl Dixon, it's more important to Gimple that those two shows can be two shows on their own, like their own thing. That's more important to him than like Daryl and Rick reuniting and those kind of things. Those kind of things that happen if they can happen. But that's not what he's focused. That's not the most important thing to him right now. It's making these two shows their own things.
I'm not even like that mad at that being the goal, but the show's just they're just not good.
Yeah, the story's not good.
They're just not good. And they don't really stand on their own either. Like you need all the past knowledge to really appreciate it or have any sort of emotional investment at all.
Especially if you're going to throw back to it.
Yeah,
we're going to throw back to those shows that these are branches off of, and then turn to the audience and say, but it's its own standalone thing, then stop bringing up shit from the other show that you expect people to be like, oh, okay, I know what he's referencing. Like
it's contradictory.
yeah, because people miss the point sometimes with those things unless you saw the original show.
Definitely.
Or
and the whole thing, I'll just say he's lying about the Rick thing. He knows that if he does that, the Daryl and Rick reunion,
it's over.
It's over. And he knows that, and he knows that we know that, and he's gaslighting is what he's doing there, in my opinion.
Yeah, a big part of it is probably half truth, half that.
Yeah.
It's
not necessarily the wrong attitude to have. Like these shows need to be good on their own and not just like connect to the big franchise or whatever. It's a good attitude.
I have a bad feeling that Daryl Dixon season 3 is going to be like, I know like we'll probably recognize the repeats. It's just okay, they just rehashed this same story again. They just had this story. But I have a feeling.
They're making it look like a Western or something. And
it could be cool if they do it right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, even with Daryl, like the one new thing they gave you with the whole is the little boy immune storyline, that was the only thing that was honestly new to this world because they've never talked about somebody who was immune the vaccine. They could have really
Except
made
maybe
that
Alicia.
interesting,
Maybe Alicia, right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they could have definitely have made that a much more interesting storyline had they not brought in the god element. That's what killed it. Like when you're talking about, oh, and then they were going to throw them to zombies to kind of fit. That's just as stupid in The Last of Us, that you want to cut open the little girl's brain and kill her before you. So you want to throw the only person who you think might be immune, throw them to the zombies, and like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, and it's like you can die like just losing blood or getting infected. Like, yeah. And yeah.
Like,
and the other thing
exactly.
is, it's like, as a religious person myself, you don't test God, okay? That's what God does for us, like you can't like say that you have faith and then like, well, we got to check it though. Like, no, that's not
that's not kind of how it works.
It doesn't even
really
make sense,
how it works,
like from their perspective. So,
but going back to the Gimple thing is like, hey, I'm going to set up this one thing in World Beyond, give you this post-credit scene and tease the hell out of the audience, but then never follow through with any of it. Not in The Ones Who Live. We thought maybe in The Ones Who Live we'll see some of it. Nope. And maybe Daryl Dixon season 1. Daryl Dixon season 1. It's got to be. Nope.
They retconned it. Yeah, I couldn't believe that they did a retcon.
A big F you, man. And it's just like, we don't care.
That scene was like the most promising of pretty much any Walking Dead scene like in a long time.
They must have fired that person or something. Whoever came up with that, they're like, yeah, we're not going with that. Let's fire that guy.
Supposedly the showrunner, I think the showrunner of World Beyond is supposed to be the showrunner of season 3 of this. Because if you look it up on the Writers Guild of America, they have Dead City season 3 listed, and they have Matt Negrete, I think is the guy's name. And
really? He's taken over?
Supposedly, but it's not officially renewed yet from what I saw. So I don't know that that's, how deep that is, but they didn't fire him, I guess.
See, Chris in the chat says this is what most of the Walking Dead fans. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Did Matt come up? I know he did World Beyond, but I'm wondering if he came up with that, because that's something pretty big for someone like Matt, even though he's been a part of The Walking Dead a long time, to just throw in, hey, everybody, check this out. It started in France, and, blah, blah, blah. Everything that post-credit scene said and told us, even with Dr. Jenner talking and setting up the variants and all that stuff, that was major. Definitely. So it's like, who threw that? If it was Matt,
that had to be Gimple, right?
I don't know. I mean, if it was Matt, bring Matt back. We want Matt. Yeah. Bring Matt back. Yeah, right. But I don't know. I don't know who was responsible for just that ending. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Scarlet.
No, y'all go ahead. I was just reading the chat because I think Chris and the guys probably feel the same way. Like they just seem to milk it out for what it's worth. This is kind of what they do. It seems to continue.
Yep. I
want
to believe that it's going to evolve
now.
But that's the sad thing. They don't have to.
No.
Nobody said that. You've now said that this is AMC's The Walking Dead universe. So this is your universe. You don't have to stick to anything that has to do with the main timeline of The Walking Dead. If you want to say that this is your own thing, then give us new characters. Make a good story. Like, people would still watch it. Like, you don't have to have things connected to the original Walking Dead to still possibly have a good show from it.
They need to start from scratch.
Kate in Orlando is reporting that she is seeing things in the sky.
I don't know what that means, but I hope it's I hope it's not bad things.
Yeah, are you in are you in the Middle Eastern area?
Yeah, she's in around about Orlando or even more south area.
Okay. Could still be bad.
It's right? Disney spying on everyone, I think.
I mean, when you say I see things in the sky and you don't do the quotes around it, that's one thing. But when you put the quotes around it, this shit is serious. This shit
UFOs, bombs. What are we talking about?
We're at DEFCON 1 right now.
Yeah.
Do we have to push the red button, Kate? Do we have to like emergency?
It's over.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. What did you see? Fireflies in the sky, stars, a shooting star, a meteor.
There was a meteor earlier today, I think.
Oh, really?
A drone? Wait, did you see drones? Kate does see drones out there, but down here there are a lot of different military bases along the south. So they do military stuff in the drones apparently. According to the government and everybody, that's what the drones were. They were military experiments, guys. It's all good.
Kate,
don't
worry about UFOs.
Is it a drone? Film it and send it to me.
Allegedly. This is all for entertainment purposes. Yes.
Yep.
Wait. They brighten the sky doing things. Shit. Film it, Kate. God damn it. You need to get your camera down there, Brian.
I'm scared now.
You need to see it. This is the Kate I was talking about. She's got a location. Apparently, you need to get your camera down there, Brian.
Okay.
When you go.
I'm on my way right now. Let's go.
Matter of fact, Kate, he's taking a vacation down to Orlando to come visit the new
Kate, have you been drinking?
Universal thing.
Yeah, I'm already headed down there anyway. Might as well.
Yep. It's the drones. I knew it. See, I called it.
I'm scared.
And
I'm
Chris asked, is Kirkman even involved anymore? They're playing off the
nostalgia. Because of the lawsuit, right?
Yeah. His name's, they got to put his name on it or whatever still, but he's not that involved anymore.
Yeah.
Gimple, I think him and Gimple are still friends, even though AMC and him, like Kirkman and AMC, don't get along.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah, I think Gimple
kind of comic together, right?
Gimple kind of worships the guy. I mean, he talks big of him.
Oh my God. And you fucking destroyed his shit. Get the fuck out of here. So arrogant.
If they're friends, maybe it's a one-sided friendship.
Yeah.
Kirk was just like, this guy again.
Right.
Well, there is the one thing, if you watch Kirkman interviews, it's hard. You hardly ever hear him bring up Scott Gimple and say what a great guy he is. But if you listen to Scott Gimple interviews, he regularly brings up Kirkman's name and says he had this great idea and this great comic and he had this great direction with this one character or whatever. And he's always giving him props and everything. And I'm throwing back to something from the comic is why I'm doing this or this or this.
It.
Yeah.
Watch me absolutely obliterate it.
Well, Gimple has to do that because it's his whole career, that's why he is where he's at.
It's like you say, it's kind of a one-sided thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's grasping at straws, because he knows after The Walking Dead, ain't nobody gonna give him nothing. They're gonna be like, you were, okay.
It's
stay where you are. You stay where you are.
Chris says Gimple reminds me of Dan and Dave from Game of Thrones.
That's an accurate comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's close. Man.
Yeah.
So where do y'all rate the finale? Like, I know we can still talk about a little bit more, but
it just pretty much killed Walking Dead for me. Like, I watched
as the episode and overall.
Nothing. Like, I'm so.
If it was a standalone, where would you put it? And then, just as a finale, where do you put it? So if you were just looking at it as an episode,
it's
just
a
all around.
It's nothing.
Like I said, I like the dude's death scene, right? Like that was really cool.
I'll give it a point. Okay, I'll give it a 1 for that.
After that, again, I don't really like where they put the characters during the death scene, like where Negan was in this location, because it left, as cool as this was, it left Negan at this weird disadvantage, because then he's chasing around the other dude, which, again, had they cornered them all properly and used the fire appropriately while Negan was sitting there eating an apple, his guys could have grabbed up this guy in the main room and done this, and Girl could have still seen it from the back and still went to go stab him. And Negan wasn't going to kill Maggie. The guys would have grabbed her up, and she would have been raging and all her. And she still could have struck 3 or 4 of Negan's guys, and he still would have forgave her without the stabbing in the side. You know what I'm saying? They could have changed it up for this time and not done the stabbing, but still gave her rage moment. And then him say, "No, wait, come here."
2 of them, right? Didn't she?
She did. She still could have. They still could have done all that scene, could have been done in here without her stabbing him, and then him take her, because she would have been raging and he would have got a hold of her, right? And they could have still taken her to the catacombs without the stabbing. Babylon wouldn't be able to come in and swiftly take over as much, because you got to think all the time while this shit was going on, when they could have like taken care of this a little bit faster and still had that death scene inside of this room right here that's on the screen. And it would have been so much better, because then she could have went and they could have had that moment together where they had to figure out who was going to kill the girl that turned into a zombie without a knife in his back.
Yeah.
And he still could have been the one that had to do it. But, and they still could, and she could have still been all upset. And she could have, like, because she wouldn't have had the knife in her hand, she could have, like, still been hitting on him, slapping him, clawing him, you know, like kicked him, punched him in the face, kneed him in the nuts, all that good shit, right? Because he was a fucking piece of shit in her eyes, whatever. But like y'all said, especially if this is like a reoccurring theme of this fucking weird ass stabbing, but we're best friends again, break that cycle and make it something better.
Or it just end it.
Or just end it. Yeah, well then just fucking end it. Yeah, either way. I mean, do something.
Yeah, like Brian was saying
like
earlier,
y'all said, or some shit. It's, if you continue to repeat.
Because really, I mean, to me, it didn't seem like a finale. It seemed like just an episode. And as an episode, I might give it like a 2. I don't even know. I can't give it anything as a finale because it just didn't seem like that at all. And especially where it ended. I mean, I was sitting there when it ended going, okay, new showrunner coming in. We know what happened at the end of season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead when the decent showrunner left it totally open for someone to come in and really run with this thing. But they totally destroyed it. They made the worst television in history pretty much from that point on. So they don't have a good history of a new showrunner coming in and taking something from what looks to be almost a blank slate again, kind of with everybody. Yeah. So it's like, what in the hell are they going to do in season 3? It could actually get much worse.
It could. It always could get worse. And even with Fear, though, it's like, even though like it's some of the worst writing ever, just like thoroughly stupid, at least there were some original to The Walking Dead ideas. Like, at least it was like, oh, we have a death cult that wants to destroy the world. Oh, we have a nuclear apocalypse. You know, there's always like some high concept stuff in there. They did fun stuff with zombies. There's always at least like something where it's like, oh, okay, that's at least good on paper, or it could be interesting. Yeah. There's nothing in this season that is new or fresh or anything. It's just repetition from before done worse. And I add the stupidity of Fear into that. So I almost would prefer to watch Fear at this point, which is like, that's like my bar for terrible TV.
Yeah. And I got that a lot in the comments over the last few episodes, actually, of stuff that I did as far as reviews for Dead City. A lot of comments. This is feeling like Fear to me, dude.
Yep. It's back to that level of just no logic, no deeper thinking about like the character motivation.
But the difference is
back and forth all the time.
The difference is Fear had such potential.
Yeah.
This show, it was doable, but there was no potential in it that you would sit down and be like, oh, everybody was interested in Fear, because they made it out to be like we were going to see the before. We were going to see the world before and how it got led up to it. Like, it literally, I think the first season dabbled in it, and then it was like basically Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They had such potential with Fear.
They did. I agree totally. I'll give you a mind-blowing fact though, real quick. It's still true what you say, totally, 100%, 110%. But a mind-blowing fact of the timeline is Fear the Walking Dead season 3, Nick blows up the dam at the end. Supposedly, that's around possibly even the same day that the CDC blows up in the main show.
Really?
So that's how the timeline kind of lines up with Fear and the main show. Wow. You think the CDC, that's not just a couple months in or something like that. Rick wakes up about a month in, or 2 months. I think it said 59 days or something like that. So 59 days in, you know,
it's
so
dream logic apparently. So who cares?
Now it's dream logic. And the way I understood it is he's saying Dead City may not be that far ahead. It may be like right beside Daryl Dixon, same time. Even though Herschel looks a lot older, just go with it.
No, dude, no, no, he can't do that.
He's doing it.
It's whenever I say it was.
Yeah, it's
they need to have the options open down the road so we can decide retroactively. Oh, it actually took place at this time, so that it makes sense for the story.
I mean, with all the shows and stuff we do, I mean, even with like Dana's Dungeons and Dragons, which has a pretty good, structure to it and everything. So a lot of these shows do. Imagine a universe to me, and Brian, I know you write, Dana writes and stories, and we think about stories, we break down these shows. It seems to me The Walking Dead has said, and like Scott Gimple just said, we don't care about the timeline. It's whatever we want it to be. He said, like, one direct quote is, don't think about the timeline or anything past what you're looking at on screen at the moment. And that's it, which sucks. Yeah. So it's like, to me, running an entire universe like that would be much harder than having a universe that has a correct timeline and has a map on the wall with all the locations that everybody, all the little communities and stuff. So, if you're writing a script, well, that might take 3 days to get from here to here. So I need to think about that while I'm writing the script and make it kind of believable. But no, they don't they don't have a map. They don't have a map. They don't have a timeline.
If I was the showrunner, I would also keep it vague in interviews, but like internally we would know the timeline. But I would keep it vague because fans like to have that ambiguity so that they can figure it out for themselves.
But it's not figure outable.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense because they don't actually do the work to line everything up.
It would be fun if it was figure outable.
Right.
I did the Rick map and I had to make half that shit up for real. I mean, for real. As I watched the show from beginning to end, as you get into the Savior War, the going back and forth between the communities, it says this community is in between these two communities. And they finally show a map of like Hilltop. So you've got a definite location. Well, you've got to fit everything in between, so-and-so's got to be in between Alexandria and Hilltop. Well, for that to make sense, this has to be over here. And then they go north across this bridge to this other community. Well, okay, you got to put that on the map. And when you lay it out, it don't make good sense really, but that's what they did in the show. Nope. It's like,
And do you guys remember like season 1, like how rich it was? Like just to have a scene in episode 2 where like, oh, I used to work for the city office, so I know that there's like a under this building, there's such and such. That just adds so much like realism and believability to everything when you really think about like, here's a map, here's how long it takes to get from point A to B, and they don't do that work anymore.
Yeah. It changes per plot, per episode. It could totally change.
Yeah.
And
it's like Game of Thrones season 8 when they can teleport all of a sudden.
Yeah, it seems it throws me off. I mean, some people can just not worry about that, I guess, but it throws me off.
Even if they don't
let the drones and the aliens take you. Have a good one.
Yeah, definitely. She's getting abducted.
I wonder if that's even
don't work too hard either.
Oh,
they've already took her, and that's the alien.
Oh no.
Well, if she throws her shoe at us, it's okay.
But the thing is with these details, though, is like even if people aren't consciously thinking about it, there's this subconscious level where they just know like there's nothing under the surface, even if they're not like necessarily aware of it. That's how we know like when we watch something good, we just have that knowledge that it's actually good and there's depth there and there's something to break down. That's why videos like yours, James, get views, because people are like, oh, there's more to the story here than what is on the surface, and they just don't care about that.
And I don't mind some things being slightly implied, but there are certain times where and there's so many different ways for you to either flashbacks or other monologue and stuff to kind of explain to a viewer what's going on without having to have like a 10-15 minute long ass, dragged out conversation about it. There's so many different ways to convey that.
Mhm.
And it's like they choose to either brush over it or do these long drug out things where you're just like bored. So you don't absorb it, right? Because again, and then they have shortened everything to less episodes where they have time to do these proper flashbacks or have time to really have the proper scenes. I don't understand what the hell they're doing. Like nothing about what they're doing makes sense to make the story better. It's only to make a quicker cash grab, just like with video games and everything else. It's about put something out as fast as we can to get quick money. And it's like people are going to pay you the money. Like if the money's there, the money's there. So put something out that's decent. We already wait 2-3 years on some of this stuff, particularly because of how the industry is, and then God forbid there's a strike or something else going on. And we're already willing to wait. We're already willing to put money out. So why not give us something good and give us enough of it so you can actually tell the story properly?
Well, what they're sacrificing with the lack of quality is, they'll get the money for this, but they're going to lose money on the thing after because they're going to lose people. And, that always just happens naturally because anytime you have a TV show, people fall off of it. They lose track of it, all that type of stuff. But we're the fans that, Dana, me, and James, we're the fans that have hung through thick and thin, and we can only take so much, and I'm getting to that point where it's like,
we're gonna leave bad reviews, and future people down the road when they're looking through streaming, they're like, oh well, season 1 got 3 stars, but season 2 got 1 star. And they won't watch it. They're like, I've got better things to do with my time. So why not give us a good story and we'll give you 4 or 5 stars, man, and you're good from now on.
Yeah, like if somebody asks me, is there a Walking Dead spinoff you'd recommend? It's pretty much like I would recommend The Ones Who Live if you want to know what happened to Rick, and maybe the first 3 seasons of Fear, but even that's not really a complete story. So, it's kind of hard to recommend that on its own. Yeah. I can't really recommend anything else. And that's sad because I would love to recommend all these shows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would honestly 100%. Recommend the webisodes, the little one-shotters that they gave us in the like how when Rick talked about the storage units, the red machete, the do not open dead inside, like stuff. That's where you can embrace the new, because those weren't talked about in the comic. Yeah. So now you could give us new stories.
They don't know how. They just out a little bit. They don't know how. It seems like.
Yeah, they're like
I love those little webisodes. I thought they were so good.
Yeah, they're definitely nice little appetizers. Yeah.
Crumb could benefit from something like that, but also it's like I don't like it when shows will present you something and then it's something that people are going to latch onto, and then they just expect you to forget about it. Like when you were talking about the episode, Brian, where she talks about when they were stuck in the city, the zombie picks up a brick and proceeds to try to smash the wall, like smash the glass. Yeah. That shows signs of intelligence. When the little boy and God, names are escaping me, with the mother died, and she would walk up to the door and jiggle the handle. Like, oh, are you telling me you're about to give us some zombies that might be intelligent? Now that's scary.
And then they did it in season 11, and like variants are nowhere to be found at this point. They introduced that concept and have done nothing with it, really.
Like, even in France on zombies.
Yeah.
That would have been really interesting to see them face somewhat. No, they're not fucking, Einstein IQ geniuses, but
they can open a door.
Some of their bait. Exactly. Yeah. That's a game changer.
Yeah, and
like even the morality of like
you're fired. In there. Yeah. You're fired. We're gonna change that shit up. So Darabon out. One of my biggest videos is the tank zombie video telling the story about how Frank Darabont wanted to tell that the first episode of season 2 would be like the tank zombie story. And so like everybody's like, man, that'd been so cool to see.
Yep.
That would have been.
But
they should have just let him do whatever he wanted. Really,
yeah,
in my opinion.
It's just crazy how the whole history of The Walking Dead is played out and the potential it had in so many different
What
spots.
a different show it would have been. What a different show it would have been had Darabont stayed around. Because he at least was paying homage the right ways to the comic book. Like the pilot episode is still, I think, the best episode in The Walking Dead. Because if you want to get a feel to what the comic book is, that will definitely. Now, mind you, of course, were there changes? Yes, it wasn't 110 like the comic book, but it was enough to where you could have your comic book in your hand and flip through the pages as you're watching it and know exactly, okay, he's here, they're there. You can still do that, and they had potential with Daryl. Because now Daryl is your Neo. He's the one that you can play around with as much as you want and give something new to the audience. Because there was no Daryl in the comic books. So you could have literally done whatever you wanted with him and had fun with it and still kept to what the comic book was. And I just think that them diverting so much, it wasn't enjoyable after a certain point.
You know, one of the biggest conspiracy theories that I've heard mentioned from sometimes, like the comments on my channel will come alive with a certain theme, and you know, it's like some other channel came out with a video or something that said that, because there's so many people saying it all of a sudden in my comments, and I don't watch everybody's channel all the time, so I'll miss stuff and don't realize it, but you can kind of tell, you know, it's just like they've heard that from somewhere. And one thing I've heard a lot lately is the whole thing, conspiracy theory that Beth is really alive.
I've heard that a lot too, and I looked into that conspiracy, and it's based on like deleted scenes.
Yeah,
you know, and obviously they're not going to use deleted scenes as like canon at this point. You know,
right.
They're like, oh, they filmed a few days at this church, and we never got to see like their funeral scene, and it was supposed to be such and such, and it's like, yeah, but if they bring Beth now, you know, it's like how stupid that would be at this point.
I mean, it would be, I'm sure, worse than Troy. I don't know. It might be about the same level as a Troy.
It would be about the same level. It would, but like by the time they did it in Fear, we kind of expected that type of thing from Fear. You know.
Yeah, if Beth come back, that would be out of the blue for sure.
That would be fucking crazy. I don't know. It's like
so random.
I appreciate that they want to keep this world alive. With the three of us up here, we kind of dragged Scarlet in. It's it could be a good world if you really, really wanted it to be, but it's a money grab now. Like, I can't sit here and watch any of these episodes. Like, even the Rick and Michonne's episode, I was so pissed when Rick cut off his hand. I was like, you did not make me sit through all this time of you in the world of The Walking Dead with your hand, and now all of a sudden in your spin-off is when you're like, you know what, just chop it off. Let's give that to the comic book fan.
I kind of like that, because it was like something big to start off the new show. And it was like, it was a shout out to the comics. I know why it frustrates you, because they moved it around right way at the end. It was a gimmick for sure, but it was something. I didn't hate it personally, but I do understand.
Always seeing Rick with both his hands just always irritated the shit out of me, especially when you have cut off other people's limbs.
Yeah,
like, you have done it. So what the fuck? Like, why are you doing this?
I as a filmmaker, I empathize with why they didn't. You know, having the number one character on your show always have to have a CG hand on. You know, and the logistics of, even Kirkman talked about how he had to rethink how he wrote certain scenes, because it's like, oh, right, he can't do that because he's holding a gun. He can't also open the door like at the same time. Like, you know, he would have to change how he wrote scenes because of that. And he said he wouldn't do it again, given that knowledge.
I get that, but that played such a part into Rick's struggle.
Yeah,
because he basically had to learn how to live all over again.
Yeah, everything over again.
And it affected a lot of situations with Rick. Like and it built towards his character. And I just felt like it was just annoyed me. It really just annoyed me.
No, I get that.
I was so mad. I was so mad. I was literally like, I could not believe you people just did this right now. Like right fucking now. And then we do a time jump of him learning how to deal with like missing his hand. And that was something he struggled with throughout the entire run of the comic book. And we just flash forward and
it. That is true.
he's now an expert. He's now an expert.
That is so true.
You guys are fucking killing me. You guys are killing me.
That's definitely fair. But like going back to like the pilot episode of the original show, like what Frank Darabont did so well was like the human emotional element, and also like the visual storytelling was also on another level because of like every shot had so much like packed into it. Like it was telling so much story than what was like just on the surface. You know, the famous poster that's, you know, your channel logo of TWDExplain and everything. Like, you know, why are all those cars leaving the city and they're abandoned like that? You know, why is there so many, like, what happened to the military? There's just a helicopter hanging out there and there's just dead bodies everywhere. Like, it was just so rich. And just even the small moments, like when Rick comes home and he's like, what really snapped it into feeling real for me is like when Rick's like looking at his hand, like, is this even real? And he's like slapping us. Like, there's just so much like human emotion just packed into like so few scenes. Like, it's really a quick episode, really.
Even
like,
his reaction to Bicycle Girl, like it was such like
it's so visceral. I'm getting chills thinking about it.
You just woke up from a coma. You've been attacked throughout the hospital. You really don't know what's going on. And then you see a fucking torso kind of crawling its way towards you. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you're definitely going to think like you're not, it's not reality.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
the early days,
of it
we were waking up in that coma with him. We were seeing that zombie girl with him. We were experiencing that with him. And for a few seasons, a little bit, especially people that didn't read the comic, we were learning the rules of the world and stuff. But by now, they're just spitting in our face, kind of. We don't care about the rules of the world anymore. We don't care about you. We don't care about the timeline or the map or the story even.
And the motivations of characters don't even make sense. Like, I don't understand the emotional state of Negan and Maggie. Like,
and the whole, and they've done it in several spinoffs and stuff. Let's introduce this new character and now let's kill them. If it's not in the same episode, it's very quick. It's like, let's just kill the whole group. Okay, let's introduce this other group. Let's kill them. Let's introduce this love interest.
Have potential.
It's like the only people that's going to come out of this are the two that came into it, Carol and Daryl, or Negan and Maggie.
Even the Rick show, like they killed off so many interesting characters. Yeah. They killed off pretty much everybody,
The only two flying back on the helicopter was Rick and Michonne, it seemed like.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
For whatever reason, that explosion killed everybody else except them under that tarp.
Yeah. I mean, the general had so much potential to be the villain. I still think like they could have made a great finale of the whole like franchise if they kept the CRM thing going and kept tied in Dead City and tied in Daryl Dixon and it all converged. I still think that would be better than what we're looking at now.
Yeah. The only thing I can figure is if they bring Mason Bill, you know, that's the mirror of Commonwealth. You know, the Pamela Milton's son killed. It could be General Bill's son kills Rick, and the whole thing about killing Rick. If the actor fights for his hand to be cut off in such a way, maybe he says, "I want my comic ending all the way," and
maybe.
You know, and
I feel like he wanted the happy ending though. And he's like, I want the happy ending and I want to be done.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him for that, honestly.
They wasted Morales. They could have had Morales be one of the tie-ins to one of these spin-off shows, and how you introduce something, because he's an established character. We all would have been shocked as shit. We were shocked as shit to see him up in the sanctuary, but if you really wanted to do something like that, they could have saved Morales for one of the spin-offs.
Yeah. Or they just could have kept him alive more than literally one scene. Like, hey, remember this guy? Oh yeah, Daryl kills him right away. It's like, come on, dude. Really? Yeah, it was a waste. I think that was a cool little Easter egg, but they could have done so much with that character.
But that would have been really, really cool. Like, that would have been maybe Maggie's connect in New York City, and you wouldn't have even had to bring in Negan.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have been something.
And then the whole story could have just been about Dama and whatever. And it's like the melding of the two stories here, Negan's and Maggie's, and then intertwining kind of Babylon in to be like their equal thread almost. It's just, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Well, I liked your idea of like telling the story of New York. Like, forget Negan, forget Maggie. Like, honestly, the intro animated scene that they have of the city getting bombed, and that's way more interesting than this show we're watching. Like, if they just took that concept of New York, tell the story of New York.
Right? The whole Dead City is about these factions fighting for soul, you know, whatever in New York City. You could have totally taken Negan and Maggie out of it and have that be its standalone show. Like,
and it could have been amazing.
Is us, like you said, being introduced to New York and seeing how all these factions kind of fell where they did. And then you could have done a time jump into season 2. Like, now we're a few years down the line and whatever the case may be, and we're seeing how those people in season 1 became. Now we know. You don't have to do flashbacks. You could still maybe incorporate flashbacks in certain ways to back to that time in New York. Like, there was so much potential with this show, and they just threw Maggie and Negan in because they're like, oh, they're established characters. So it's like they were almost too scared to do a standalone show, like a real standalone show. Like, it's in the world of The Walking Dead, but all those characters, this is New York City. We're going to bring in this little pocket world. And that would have been so fucking interesting.
Well, when they had, Kirkman writing a spinoff, Fear, that's what they did. They're like, let's do a whole new, we don't need tie-in characters. Let's just start from scratch, make a whole new cast. And that's part of what made that show decent at the beginning, And I think that like New York is like one of the most, it's one of the most important cities in the whole world. Like, it's such a center of like everything going on, and they wasted it. It's just window dressing at best,
Yes. Like, I thought Fear didn't need Dwight. It didn't need more. You didn't have to bring in those characters. Like, it fell off a cliff at some point, but that was like your start of like, okay, we don't need to have anybody from the original show for this show to carry. So now let's branch off. What happened in New York? What happened in Seattle? What happened, in other places in the United States? And then you could even have done, okay, now we're moving to Europe. What happened in Paris? Would
have been great. Animated. Yeah, no, I get it. I feel like season 4 of Fear was like the network was like, you guys need to reboot this show or we're canceling it. And they were like, okay, well, let's bring one of the most popular characters over there. Because they didn't even really do that much with Morgan at that point in the series anyway. There's just too big of a cast. So they're like, all right, let's spin them off. And then you could just tell that the AMC wanted, like, this show's too big. It has too big of a cast. There's way too much overhead. It's too expensive for us. So we want to cancel this show and just kind of like have the most popular characters do their own thing. It's coming from a mindset of trying to save budget. It's not coming from a mindset of like, what do Walking Dead fans want? What is the best story we can tell? It's working backwards from the accountant's sheet,
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got where we are.
But that would have been so cool to see like the story of New York and the world of The Walking Dead.
Absolutely. That was Nick.
Yeah, that was Nick.
He He was a good character, really good. He was like the lead of the show, but you can't blame him for you can't blame them for killing him off because he wanted off the show, unfortunately. But yeah, he was a great character for sure. Great actor.
Knowing those showrunners and the way it went, I don't blame the dude.
Yeah, he made the right choice in retrospect.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't hate the beginning of season 4. Like, you know, John Dory's a great character, and it was solid for a little bit. Like, yeah, they had an amazing cast.
That broke my heart when she got to him on the raft, and
yeah,
I was like, that actually choked me up. I was like, oh, they're finally oh no.
Yeah. I was kind of mad when he died
because
they took the most optimistic character and they made him suicidal for pretty much no reason. You know, it just didn't work.
It was just sad. I was like, oh, because he was a good character.
He was great.
A good character.
He was great. Great actor too.
And that's one thing I will not knock The Walking Dead. They have actors.
Yes.
Like, they have actors.
The casting is always on point for the most part.
It really is. Like, even in the original pilot, everybody did fit their roles. I was extremely, extremely shocked because sometimes you have a race swap or a gender swap or something, but no, like, they stayed true to, like, I saw Stephen Ewan as Glenn. You know, they fit their characters. Like, Rick, as obnoxious as he is, or I heard, quote unquote, he acted the shit out of Rick. He acted the shit out of Rick. And it was very, very, I thought Tyrese was great. They at least fit their characters. Shane.
Shane was just perfect. Yeah. Such perfect casting.
And I didn't mind that twist. Like stuff like that. They extended his life, which I didn't mind, but still in the end, it was true to form. You know, I don't mind if you want, but at least, like, once they started, like, swapping people's deaths, and, like, I literally knew right away who the two people were with the bat. Like,
really?
It was, people were,
I knew that it was going to be two. I knew that was going to be two. It's like, you're not going to have that gimmicky cliffhanger and not kill two.
Once I saw them give Tara's girlfriend Abraham's death, I was like, they're going to kill him off with the bat. I was like, that's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense. His character was going to die anyway. So to make it more emotional or whatever, like, I was like, it's definitely going to be Glenn and Abraham. And people were just like, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I was like, Abraham was supposed to die with an arrow to the face. Like, they're saving him to make it more, that's going to be the twist that they give you. Instead of it being just Glenn, it was going to be Glenn and Abraham.
And like, Abraham even had more potential because, like, I think Kirkman said when he was writing the death scene, it was kind of like an impulse thing to kill off Abraham. So he might have even had ideas for the character down the road, which, if they're going to give the death to somebody else, they could have kept him around. But no, they took kind of the easy way out with that, seems like.
But no, I don't know. Season 3,
yeah, I doubt it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna cancel it.
I think
there's no red light. Green light for this.
I think pre-production has unofficially started, but it's not been announced or anything. I think the sleuth channels,
on it, but they could pull the plug at any time.
Yeah, they could still pull the plug. I think the one thing that could save season 3 is if a ship pulled up and a bunch of ninjas from China jumped off of it.
They already got like ninja zombies already. Like, they're already like.
As someone there. Like outside of like the fan base of what this is, right? Watching this season, and I know I didn't watch season 1, but I kind of got the gist of what season 1 was. Watching this season, I don't understand. After all the different kind of shows I watch all kinds of wild ass different shows. I don't understand where they are going for season 3. Like, look, I can get over all the plot holes, not really explaining certain things, go along with it. the fact that it is the kind of show and the genre it is. They use the zombies the way they use them. I could almost forgive all that because I understand that's sort of the kind of show it is. But you still have to have enough of a story in order for me to say, like, we say, okay, what do we expect for season 3? Well, I don't even understand where they're at now at the end of this season to even try. Not that there's like theory crafting, but to even try to have a guess or a idea of like, oh, this is where I think they're going to go with season 3, or this is what I would like to see happen in season 3, because I don't really understand where our characters are right now. Like, it didn't really, the ending didn't set up a what I want to say, like a pathway for me to really decide anything. It's almost chaotic ending in a way, because there's so much they did, but nothing's really tying together here. What is the purpose here again? Is it still the methane, or we're just battling for New York City?
So out of context, that right-hand photo up there, if you didn't know what was going on.
That face right there is that was what I was talking about earlier, was her face when she stabbed me. That's the image I was talking about. Like, what did she get, some super power boost from that? What the fuck was her look about?
They're enjoying it a little too much.
Yeah, something going on there.
I know, like her whole face, everything about that seemed like she was getting a little too much out of that.
Negan's
for her to be stabbing.
She's really excited.
Weird.
Negan's like in ecstasy right now.
I just don't understand. Like, I can't even say what I want season 3 to be. Like, as an outside viewer coming in, if they were trying to catch and grab outside viewers, right, to try to get more fans, and I would be one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
I can't even think of. I don't know what to even be excited about.
Oh, come on, Scarlet! You couldn't understand all of that.
I mean, I understand it, other than the fact that I don't understand where they're going. What is the purpose then? Like, all right, James, you explain it to me. Right. You're right. I'm a woman. I don't understand.
No, that's why
you're correct. Actually,
that's why.
No, I would love for James.
That's why we're giving it a 0 on a rating.
I would love for a man to explain to me why. Like, one of these producers, is it a man guy? Is it a dude that did this shit?
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, let him explain to me. Please gaslight the show.
Who's the writers?
What I'm supposed to understand.
Are the writers?
I would love to be
a mixed group of people.
Yes, please, somebody straighten me out a little bit. I would love to fucking understand what the hell is going on here.
I would say that you basically did see season 1, because it's the same season as this one, pretty much. Like, it's the same story over and over again. Right. But you're right. I mean, there's nowhere to go. Like, there's no
before the season comes out, and even when the season come out, right, they give you the whole recap of like what season 1 was. So I got like the shell, or what, the frame of what season 1 was. I didn't get all the super emotional dialogue and stuff like that, which, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have been able to watch season 2 had I done that, because that is a theme with these particular kind of shows, or maybe this particular franchise within this genre of shows, that is the reason why I cannot get on board with it. I'm not digging on anyone else who is into that. Again, there's so much stuff out there to watch. It's not my cup of tea. The same way, like, there's sci-fi shows that I wish actually would continue on that got canceled, but I understand why they got canceled, because they're not for everyone, right? And unless you have people who are into that kind of genre, that particular whatever, it's going to be hard to keep the show going, even if it is a great show. Unfortunately, this one seems, even for the fan base, to totally suck and be a piece of shit. So I can't really help that. But as far as an outsider trying to pull an outside fan, they can. This is what is to be expected from this kind of TV show.
Yeah,
I don't understand how they continue to pump money into it.
So exactly. So, like, I've never done a full-fledged movie or anything like that, but I've shot little short films and stuff, usually things I've written on my own, so not a lot of chefs in the kitchen per se, right? But I have owned and ran haunted houses. And if you think of a haunted house, if you've ever been to one, right, you go in the first room, then the next room, then the next room, and so forth until you come out.
Learn something new about you every day.
So if you think about a haunted house, you come out the end, right? But you've been through a bunch of rooms. So if you break down a haunted house, you got to think of it. You could think of it like a movie. And let's say you've got 25 rooms, you've got 25 scenes, you've got 25 little things that for about less than a minute sometimes, but sometimes up to 2 minutes, that's how long that scene lasts, because those people, you're going to entertain them or scare them or whatever, and they're going to move on through the door, and you're going to make sure they move on through the door because it's a business and you have to flow people through it. It's got to flow. You can't have a bottleneck and stuff like that, right? So as you create these scenes, as the guy over, that job, doing that job of running it all, sometimes you have an actor, right, that is phenomenal. He's great at what he does. He scares the crap out of people, but he wants to do what he wants to do, or he's not going to show up. And you need people to show up. So you want to work with that guy and try to do what he wants to do, but still make it work, right? So you try to come up with something amazing. And hopefully at the end of the day, you do. And I can understand on like a big movie or a TV show, or even with The Walking Dead, that's probably some of the things they run into. Like, okay, this guy has an idea also, and they have to work it in and all this kind of stuff. But there's still got to be like a person that says yes or no at the end of the day. And
it's supposed to be Gimple.
Yeah. And whoever that is failing in their job, because they've let Fear the Walking Dead go all the way through its run, and it was just shit. They're not listening to the fans. That's a fact. So, even Scarlet saying, well, I'm a newcomer looking at this and it doesn't look that great. Well, I'm a fan since day one and it looks like total fucking dog shit right now.
Yeah, I think it looks worse to us. Yeah.
So it's like, you asking the question, I don't understand the production side of it. Hell, who the hell does, man? What the hell is fucking going on with this shit is what I have to ask. And I hate to do that. I hate to do that because, I don't want to. I want it to be good.
You're pretty smart there, James. And I think I'm a considerate educational Dana. You know what that means.
I was just getting it. Yes.
There we go. Got to use that clip every episode.
Yep.
We're going to count it.
We learn things here.
Absolutely.
So we're going to apply the haunted house method. And I actually like that because I did actually
it's a good metaphor. I like
work in a haunted house one year. Down here, they do like a big haunted house and you go through it and everything. Each one is a scene and it leads you all the way through. And the one we did, it's one of those, it's like, it's the church puts it on, but it's like a big thing. And so in the end, it's actually kind of telling you about, not doing certain bad things so you don't condemn your soul to hell. But we did actually have a scene like you're talking about. And in our scene, it was talking about drugs and stuff like that. And part of us had like these little baggies that were supposed to have drugs in them. And we had to pretend like we were dealing drugs. And then it goes to showing you like, that's like, oh, it's so fun doing this. And then, they go to the next room and it shows you kind of like the bad shit that happens to you. But they have all this, like there is a scene though, and it's all set up with all the props and everything like that. And they give you like a little kind of like, it's not really a script. They just kind of tell you, okay, this is kind of what you're doing. We even had they had beer bottles, but of course they were rinsed out and put water in it. So we're pretending like we're drinking beer, even though we're not, So, and again, but the whole, like you were saying, James, to your point, the whole haunted house was set up as cheesy as it was. Each room was set up to lead to the next one that led to the next one, all the way through till you got to the end. And it was particularly set up. It was volunteer based. So it was a lot of kids got to be involved in it. And yeah, it was stupid acting, but there were people who, they had stuff set up in there just like for makeup and stuff like that. So it was, in a sense, similar to, like you said, not quite a movie or a TV show, but if you do it right, it's set up for that whole experience for you to walk through it and get some kind of story behind it, whatever that is.
Cohesive vision.
I have no professional connection to any haunted houses, but I once was a bottleneck, as you say, James. To where I had to be ushered along because I got cornered by the guy playing Freddy Krueger and I refused to move. And Miguel had to yell at the guy playing the Freddy Krueger like, she's fucking scared, leave her alone or she's not going to move. And people were like yelling and telling us to go. And I was trapped in the corner, cowering like a little child. And Miguel had to tell the guy, like, let her go or she will not leave.
I love
he was
going
like
to
blocking
those.
the way.
I
And
always try to crack
I
jokes and
was
make the
so
people laugh.
terrified. And then, yes, the people behind us were yelling, and I didn't care. I was so scared to where Miguel was like, went up to the dude and was like, okay, she's scared. You win. Let her box. I was just like, I was so petrified.
That's
So,
funny.
yes, I once caused a bottleneck, so to speak.
Somebody's got to do it.
And see, I just love haunted houses. Like anytime we've ever had
I
them
do
down
too.
here,
I'm
Yeah,
the
I go
biggest
through.
chicken in the
I'm
whole wide
so
world,
like
and I love
non-fearless
them.
because I'm like, well, first of all, I know it's a haunted house, right? And I'm pretty sure, as much as the horror movies I have watched, I'm not too worried about a psycho killer just happening to walk up in the haunted house or some random, sci-fi supernatural clown walking into there and killing everybody.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I feel pretty safe. Even when they use the chainsaws, they don't have the actual blade. You're pretty sure you're safe. Like you're 99% sure, other than if you trip and fall and, bust your face because you're trying to walk through a dark ass fucking haunted house.
Yeah, that is the
That's
real
about
danger.
the only risk is to run into something, right? But if you just kind of walk, you're good to go. I'll sit there. Like, matter of fact, they get irritated with me because I challenge the ghouls and spooks and shit. I mean, like,
You're like Miguel. Miguel does the same thing.
I always try to crack jokes.
He does the same thing.
Well, because some of them are real bowdy, right? Like they really be trying to get up in your face with that shit. Like I don't mind if they pop up and they do a little bit of run bys and they have little creepy stories and shit. Some of them be trying to get real rude about it. So I get rude back. I mean, look, man, all right, now you up in my space.
Yes,
you
anytime
pop up,
you go to a haunted house,
I got reflexes.
Miguel will always turn to me. Miguel will always turn to me and he'll be like, you know my rule. If one of them touches me,
exactly. All right, exactly. All right, me and Miguel, we on
and
board
I'm like,
the same
God
thing.
damn it, Miguel! I'm like, you don't have to like go through the haunted house like knock. Nope, you.
No, look, they can
about to get arrested at the end of the haunted house.
Them. And I'm just like, oh God.
They can run past me, Dana. They can run all around me. They can pop up right next to my face, because they like in the little coffin, and they just boogity boogity boo. That's all fair. You put your hands on me.
Yep.
There's
time he'll be like, you know my rule.
I don't care what waiver I sign. I ain't signing a
rule.
waiver where you put your hands on me. I don't go to those haunted houses because
they do have them.
I don't go to those haunted houses because I'm going to end up in handcuffs.
Yeah, there's one near me
and it ain't
called
the fun
Scare
kind.
House that I've been to, and it's actually really good.
Exactly.
But I got an ad for one that's like the basement, and this is where they will actually touch you. And I was like,
yeah, I'm like, fuck that shit.
No, I'm good.
Look, I don't mind being scared. I feel like you can walk through a haunted house and get scared without having to put your hands on somebody.
He will literally sit me down and be like, okay, you know my rule. Like, you're bringing me to this haunted house. Like, I'll go because, like, he tries to be the tough guy. Nothing scares me. And I'm the biggest chicken in the whole wide world. Don't make me go first. I need to be in the middle. I'm the biggest chicken.
I want to walk through. I hope they scare me. Like, I'm hoping the atmosphere. And because, like, we went through one in Vegas. What was it? The Wax Museum. And when you walk through the little haunted house part, this was when I was in like high school. We went to Vegas for like a poetry bullshit convention thing. You basically submit a poem and then everybody can basically go to the convention. You pay for it and they give you a little trophy. Like you don't even really have to do anything to participate. But whatever. We got a Vegas trip out of it, right? My mom was happy she got to go gambling. And one of the things we went to see was the Wax Museum, and they had a little haunted house. And when you walk through it, you don't, because the wax figurines and all the stuff in there is like really good. So you can't tell the difference between the real people and what might be considered fake. Spooky. So, and I liked it because they didn't like put their hands on you. Now, it's one thing if they pop up and they walk by you, brush against you. Like, I don't consider that like I'm fighting, I'm going to kick your ass or some shit like that. So it was fun because when you walk through, that's what was good for me for a haunted house to scare me. It's not that I feel like you're going to like put your hands on me and try to choke me out or some stupid shit. It's if I walk through and I can't tell what is real and what is fake. And I want to be first in line, like you talked about Miguel. So you're going to be the first one to see what's real and what's fake, right? And I love to see if they're going to catch me. And sometimes they do. And that's fun for me because then I'm like, ha, 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 you got me, or ha, 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 you didn't get me. And then I'm watching everybody behind me like freak out, like Dana, like scared little girls, and I'm laughing at them while I'm walking through.
Yep. The best haunted house I ever went to was for, I think it was like 3 years. They actually turned Madison Square Garden into Madison Scare Garden. And it was like an hour walk through to get through this haunted house. And
That
like
sounds
it was a
awesome.
production.
Wow.
It was a production. Like you to where at the end, they would always have a magician. And who's the big famous guy now?
Which
Who
one?
hovered
David
above Vegas?
Blaine?
No, there's Chris something.
Not Chris Angel. He's not big. He's a piece of
Yes.
shit. No, he's not big, Dana. He wants to feel like he's big. I don't like him.
Well, he was the first magician that we saw there. Like before he was whoever he was.
I'm sorry. I don't like his spiel. I don't like his stick. There's better.
But no, it was really, really good.
Penn and Teller's better.
No, not him. The haunted house in whole. Like it literally took you an hour to walk through this thing.
I know, but I'm just saying, Chris
different
Angel's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. Yeah,
It's
you
okay.
triggered me.
Fair.
As musician,
I mean,
as a magicians go, I'm sorry.
I've only seen like the
But
parody video of of Chris Angel, so I don't even know like what his thing is. There's a really funny parody.
I love
of
haunted
him.
houses.
Oh, me too.
I love haunted houses.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest chicken, and I'll admit that I'm the biggest chicken. But I love going through haunted houses.
It's probably more fun for you than it is for somebody who's not. You know.
Because I'm
more. You get more scare factor.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
It does not take much.
and you know, especially as somebody running it, you want it to be good. You don't want people to come out the end going, I totally don't understand it, that was stupid, you know, I wouldn't recommend it to my friends, because verbal marketing is the best, the biggest and best marketing you can have.
Definitely.
I had a haunted corn maze for 4 years, and the first opening weekend, we were set to open, and the fire marshal showed up, and he had a pistol on his side, and he kept like touching it. Like, you say that again, I would keep asking questions because I didn't know. I just didn't know the codes he was talking about. And when I'd ask him a question, he'd put his hand on his gun and he'd look at me, and like, I was like, can I not ask questions? And man, I thought,
that's scary. That's scary.
Yeah, it was scary. And little did I know it was a show, because, you know, after that, we were good friends. He's a cool dude, but he's like, all you people opening up these haunted houses and stuff, not going by code. I got to make my point. And he shut me down. First weekend, I couldn't open because I had a couple code violations and I had to get them fixed. And there was no way I could do that, you know, and it takes several days, so I couldn't open that weekend. Well, yikes. The channel Huntsville, actually, Scarlet, where the Space Rocket Center is, the Huntsville channel that reaches around that local area where the corn maze was and stuff. He shut down 3 that year, and that was kind of like a record of him shutting down haunted houses, all 3. That couldn't open that weekend, and ours was one of them. And we got mentioned on the channel news at like the 6 o'clock news. And I mean, it was just a mention.
Famous,
it was hey, look, it was just a mention, and it showed like stock footage. It wasn't even our corn maze. It was some other corn maze. But it was like 3 seconds. For the entire 4 years that we were open, we asked every single person that came up to the ticket booth, hey, how'd you hear about us? 99%. We did radio ads. We spent $4,000 on radio ads. We had the DJ come out to the corn maze and go through the corn maze screaming as he was live on the radio. We did all kinds of shit, flyers, and, you know, 99% of the people said, oh, we saw you on the news.
Wow. That's awesome. So it worked out perfectly.
See, ain't that crazy?
Yeah. You're like, oh shit, I got shut down. That really sucks. And it ended up being like the best marketing ever.
It was the best thing that happened to us.
Yeah.
Well, what is it they say? No news is bad news or something.
I know
Publicity,
that
some
made
shit
us
like that.
that made us start thinking, what other shit can we get in trouble for?
Right.
Right.
It's got to be just the right amount of trouble, right? You got to get the right kind.
Yeah, not too much.
Yeah, like somebody got so scared they punched the guy in the face and he went to the hospital. Like there we go. That's some
Right.
free advertising. That's gonna make the news. Let's go.
I hate when they tell you that about movies. People were throwing up in the audience. People were passing out. And then it's like you watch the movie and you're just like, huh?
The air
What?
conditioner
City
must have
gave
quit.
y'all an
during-
extra fucking rating, rated R. You got to
Like
pay
when they were
extra.
talking about Terrifier. Oh my God, people were walking out. Now, mind you, it's gruesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
gave
real
them a twisted
gruesome.
mind.
But I
But
know
I'm
it's
like,
staged, right? Like they planted people in the audience to walk out and stuff like that, right?
which is fine. But I'm like, yeah, no. The only time I've ever thought about walking out the movie was during Dawn of the Dead. When I saw that dog come onto the screen, I looked at Miguel and I said, I'm not watching that dog get eaten. I was like, if anything happens to that dog, I said, I'm leaving. I was like, I'm walking out of this movie right now. And he was just like, oh, no, I don't think the dog's gonna die. I was like, I swear you know. He's like, I know you will. Just please. Just I was like, I'll go walk out this movie if I have to see that dog get eaten. That was the only time I ever thought about walking out of a movie theater.
Yeah, did you see Alien 3? That might do you in there too.
Yep, I couldn't watch John Wick. I could
Oh yeah.
I made sure after and what's the other one with Will Smith?
I Am Legend?
A movie. Yes, I still to this day have not seen that. I can't. I could watch people being ripped to shreds, pull their guts
Oh,
out,
that
do
was
whatever you want to
sad.
them. Oh
It
my
was sad,
God.
Dan.
You put
Well,
a
how did you feel
oh,
about when we did Fallout and the dog came back to life, right?
I fast forwarded.
I mean,
That's fair.
technically, it depends on how
I
you
fast
feel
forwarded
about that
part.
one.
I fast forwarded that. I did not watch that.
Well,
No,
what
I
about
get
the
it.
bear?
I don't know
What
it
about the
is.
bear? The bear was just being a bear. He got all kinds of jacked up in the show.
That's why there was not very many screenshots of it. I fast forwarded through a lot of that too.
All right, I'm just making sure we're being.
Hey, that's fair.
Yep,
Yeah, a
nope.
lot of people feel that way.
When the horse got it in The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah. That
Oh,
was gruesome too.
oh,
They
I was
really
just like,
stretched that out.
I looked at him, I
Poor
was like, just
horse.
tell me it's over. Tell me it's fucking over. Just
Hey, I
tell
heard
me.
I heard Lex Luthor steals Superdog in the new Superman movie.
Oh really? Is that the
Kidnaps
thing?
Kidnaps
them?
Superdog.
This dog's gonna be fine.
How
What it
well are
is.
we getting through Yellow Jackets, Dana? There's a few moments.
When she kind of kills the stuff and
What about the bunny
trust
rabbit?
me, I didn't watch that. I closed my eyes for that. I knew it was
You
coming.
remember
I knew
the
it was
bunny rabbit,
coming.
right? I mean, they were doing it all to try to figure out stuff. It was very symbolic.
Like I said,
Shauna's the worst.
this is gonna be my
No,
deal.
she's
This is gonna be
fine.
my deal. If the world
okay.
ends and we are
That
all on James's
shit,
farm,
James. Not fair.
you guys, whoever kills the animals, you do the killing. I can still give it to me dead, and I could butcher it. But I cannot watch an animal die.
Yeah.
Like
I can't watch it.
fair.
It
I
is
know
sad when they do those things, but they do tend to put that in there for a little extra, like
It
symbolism or
And again, it's
kind
just
of it pulls at you. It pisses you off, and you be ready to like kill off the character.
I'm just one of those people. But you want to murder somebody and rip them to shreds and do whatever, throw them in a wood chipper. I don't care. I can sit through all that. But you put an animal on the screen, and I am just I'm a whimpering, sobbing mess. Because now I'm just anxious the whole time. I'm like,
And James, to be fair, the bunny rabbit that Shauna killed, she used for dinner. That's no different than killing a chicken put on the table. Now, what's her name? Ty, however, it wasn't it Ty that killed the other bunny rabbit so she could be all invoked by the man with no eyes or whatever the fuck her deal is. So again, like I said, I'm not saying Shauna's an angel.
Oh, Ty's worse.
There we go. All right, there we go. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, we're good then.
I agree. I mean, they're both bad in so many bad kind of ways, but Ty's worse.
Yeah.
No, there we go. That's all I wanted
Did you
to hear.
watch Yellow
I mean,
Jackets,
Shauna could
Brian?
die too. I mean, they can all kind of, have what was coming to them karma wise. I just, I felt like Shauna maybe got a little more heat than she deserved in the grand scheme of all of their fuckery.
Right. And I just hope that show doesn't disappoint me, because I have a lot of hope in that show.
Oh, I know.
For some
I'm
reason,
really excited about this next season.
I almost have as much hope that show hopefully will make sense as it goes along all the way through than even from I'm like, are they gonna be able to sail this ship all the way in,
bring it back? Yeah, they kind of went out, they're way in deep waters with From, see if they can't bring it back to shore somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I have to give it to them. I am interested in the what's her name's little I'm a story walker kind of thing.
Well, if they can bring it back together, it's possible.
Yeah. I still have faith in it.
It definitely has potential, but we're at that moment. This is do or die for them.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like
this
next season of From is going to have to explain the world of From. Like, we're at the point to where now they've unlocked the more, like, we already thought supernatural or whatever the fuck. To me, they've unlocked so much of that with like a pact with that man in yellow and the kids and all that kind of stuff. Like, they've got to really explain further with that, because they gave us a good bit of it.
Yeah. I think we got 2 more seasons of From at the most.
I would like to get even more of the backstory in this season. I would really like to see them, because they didn't explain, like, they explained Smiley a little bit and why he was able to be brought back, but they didn't explain too much about the lady that brought him back and what her deal was. And they still got the cabins out there and a lot of pieces left to the From maps that we have in the cave drawings and stuff like that. So there's still a lot of explanation to give with Tabitha and her past lives and whatever they're doing with that. I hope they give us a little bit more of that in this next season to kind of help explain it so people aren't kind of like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, hopefully they will. And it looks like they may even jump forward in time. That could help explain the actors getting older, like the boy for sure. Yes, he's growing up really fast. And with Julie, like Dana's saying, being the story walker, she come from the future, so it may kick off at that future point. Right. When we start,
or even her going in the past or something. If her story walking, they can even get rid of Ethan's character to a degree for a lot of this season with how they've opened the world up on time wise.
Yeah, for sure. They can do anything.
Not to say that they still couldn't have him in there as a future Ethan while they have Julie popping up and around and all over the place.
Right.
Which again, if Julie's the reason why some of these things end up being set up the way they're set up, which again, we don't. So many little threads and From.
You want a fucking way to explain Ethan? I'm sorry. I love the little boy. He's not a bad actor. He did really good playing Ethan. You just have him walk through a fucking faraway tree and come out somewhat of an adult.
Yeah, well, they can still do the time jump. Well, they still do the time jump because Julie's going to be that
into the story without doing a massive time jump.
Well, Julie's going to be that time jump because again, think about it. They've introduced her as being able to jump around. So they could have it where she jumps to the past in scenes that don't have Ethan, or even in the present where Ethan's just not really as mentioned. And then when she's like jumping to the future or something, that's where you get to see more of Ethan. I don't know how they're going to work it, but I could see them using Julie as a way to kind of work that out.
Yeah, they could do that. It'll be crazy if Ethan ends up being the man in yellow.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he definitely seems like she's a story walker. He seems like the storyteller. Like he knows the story.
He knows too much.
What if it's Victor?
I don't know. I feel like that would be. I don't know. It wouldn't fit.
I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. I don't know.
Yeah, no, because
you never know.
And Victor's sister's still out there.
Since we see
Victor, they have all these weird reincarnations and shit too. So I don't know.
Ethan. I go more for the Ethan is the man in yellow than I do for Randall.
Well, because they have Tabitha as like a reincarnation, but then they have Victor's family as like an intricate part as well.
But are they the only ones? Are they the only reincarnations?
Like, so Tabitha and Victor's mom are the reincarnations, but Victor seems like they want to get them. That's the part they're going to have to work out. That reincarnation bit with Tabitha and Victor's families. and how it works out with the new people that are there that don't seem to be a reincarnation. They're randos.
This is now, mind you, tinfoil hat time. I'm just gonna put my tinfoil hat on really quick.
Get it.
So, if you really wanted to explain the reincarnation, because we've seen that there might have been other people who could have been, let's quote unquote call it, now I'm going to go my lost way, candidate to be that reincarnated, because we've seen Abby. Abby throws a wrench in the reincarnation because she was almost starting to act like Tabitha, but it went more of a PTSD route and she just started killing everybody. But she was talking about, it's very familiar, like I had a dream. What if when you enter from is when you become reincarnated? The spirit of whoever this being is, that's when they truly get to enter you, is when they come into from for the first time. Hence why they have to start remembering, thinking about things. They don't really know. It's a blur because they might not necessarily be that reincarnation, but like a host. Like the spirit, then that's why we're able to have more than one version of this. Abby could have been one. You know, that when they come to from, the spirit enters them, and only Tabitha seems to have maybe gotten the furthest, let's say, out of everybody. I think that would be an interesting way to explain reincarnation, because reincarnation's harder than time travel, because now you really have to have shit line up. And now
they're doing a weird version of time travel, which is kind of nice because, again, it's like from like the writers of Lost, and they did their sort of version, if you want to call it time travel.
Yeah, so I like that they're as like,
yeah, I like that it's
candidates.
And look, I was a big person. I ain't gonna lie. I was very much so getting pissed off. I'm like, God damn it. I don't want it to be time travel. I don't want it to be time travel. Motherfucker, they're doing time travel. Stop fucking around with time travel. But then they kind of worked it in a way that it's like, I don't know. They haven't fully explained it yet, but it's looking like it's not time travel like, you go through a time travel box and you get to go like just warping around. I don't know how they're going to explain the rifts if it's through the trees.
They're doing time travel.
Shut up,
it's
James.
happening.
I'm not accepting it fully yet. I'm hoping they're going to explain it through the faraway trees. Maybe that's the way, but it goes to the musical notes. Right? Because they had the bottles, and the bottles have the numbers, and the numbers correspond with like a musical note or something like that. So if she figures out the code with that, she may be able to travel through the trees through space and time. Right? Is that not what they were doing?
It's like Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Because she walked through, right? She walked, the future Julie came up through the trees out of nowhere. She didn't she have anything in her hand?
No, it don't seem like. She probably like come out of a tree, you're saying, and then ran through the woods to find that moment.
So how would she do that other than to navigate the trees the same way Tabitha and Jade started to figure out the melody and the notes of the bottles on the tree?
Yeah, makes sense.
Which is why the boy in white was telling Victor not to destroy the trees. The trees are the key. And why he wanted both Julie and Ethan to experience the trees, to understand the trees, for Tabitha to understand the trees, for Jade to understand the trees. The trees were key.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely more to the trees.
They're like them, they're players in the game, and the boy in white's on one side, so he needs to get his players to know more and up their game to win the game, if you want to call it that. Seems like.
Right. There's still a lot to unpack with from. Definitely tomorrow. Where are we? Is it Thursday? Still? Tomorrow, Friday. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I'm going to attempt to do
one
a
more
Friday
day in the
night.
week.
Well, I know, right? I don't know where we're at anymore. But I'm going to attempt to do a Friday Night Fever tomorrow night. You guys are all welcome to join us. I think I'm going to look over that trailer you sent us, James, for that horror movie, the second one. Dive into that a little bit and maybe start talking about From, since they have talked about going into production. Kind of do what we were just doing now, just get our brains back into it.
I need to refamiliarize myself with everything. It's
right.
been a while.
I'll break out some screenshots, just kind of get our brains back on From a little bit and see where everybody's at. Because it's been a while since we've done any kind of From conversations. and just kind of hang out. And I'm gonna get my pictures from the trip kind of all together. I know I put a lot of them in the Discord. If you guys aren't in the Discord, I'm gonna show them off, talk about the trip a little bit. Tell you guys what I found out at NASA.
The secrets. And then the men in suits are gonna show up and take you away.
Scarlet, someone comes knocking on my door. I'm blaming you.
I may or may not be watching this moment. I was telling James and Brian and Dana about it a little bit before we started. And look, I may have had somebody come up on my shoulder when I was trying to ask some questions. It creeped me out a little bit after finding out that the same person was shaking their head at me earlier in my questioning of. I was trying to find out things. Look, we talk about things on this channel or on Dana's channel, my channel, right? And I was just trying to, get it from the horse's mouth. They didn't appreciate it. And we're going to talk about it. I wish I had more time at the NASA Center and the Marshall Military No Filming Allowed base.
Well, it can't be that serious if they're letting you walk around.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys all about the moon and the missions that they're looking forward to doing and all the stuff we learned about Operation Paperclip and how the NASA Huntsville Space Center is all a part of that. Along with the caverns in Upper Alabama, the Cathedral Caverns, and Dollywood. It was a hell of a trip. And we also got to go see, because we had a little downtime on part of the trip, we went to an arcade, and it was like an old school arcade, legit, like, with the buttons and the joystick, and it was all like Ninja Turtles and Mortal Kombat, and what was it, the Centipede game, and Frogger, and Pac-Man, all that good stuff. They even had for sale old Atari games, Nintendo games, all kinds of stuff. But I'll talk more about it tomorrow night, and we'll get into a whole bunch of fun.
Nice.
It'd be around 9 o'clock Eastern, roundabout.
Also, I finally received the prizes from Nick, so
nice.
I'm going to be getting everything together for anybody who won.
Debbie, Omar, all you guys, we did not forget about you from the art contest. We are still going to get your stuff out. Yes. We apologize.
I know I owe Bill Chill some keychains.
Yes, Dana's going to hook you guys up when you get your packages. So look out for what in the next week or so. We'll be sending it them.
I'm hoping to be able to. Yes, I had some Funko Pops. So I'm going to be getting my stuff together, so to speak. And I know that when From starts, I've been talking to Nick. We got some cool things that we're going to do, and some more talismans and some more t-shirts. I found some other really cool t-shirt designs. So we're
also going to be starting to work on, even though Dana is not monetized yet, both of our channels are going to start working on some merch for you guys. So I may be putting something in my Discord and also in Dana's Discord for you guys to help us come up with some ideas for things that you would like to see. Probably phrases on t-shirts and keychains and such. Things that we say all the time, because y'all know we're pretty scatterbrained. So we'll let you guys help us out. We'll see. And you never know. Maybe we'll do a contest and the best phrase or idea can be won, and it'll be put on a t-shirt, and you'll get yours for free, and everybody else have to pay for it.
Well, you gotta have a shirt about lasagna, right?
That's definitely one for sure. The lasagna wars.
Yeah,
that's like wars. There's just a whole line of shit for that right there, right? Like you got to get the keychain with the lasagna, and one's like Stofers or the no Stofers.
Stofers or
no. We have to
put the like circle
Stofers
with the
something.
David, you do the Stouffer's box, and then you put like the red circle with the XL on it or whatever. And then on the other side of the keychain, you have like the homemade Stouffer's with your mom's icon. We got to get her an avatar made like we did for Evil, but like get Liam to draw it, and with their spoon.
Oh, mom, she was actually asking me the other day. She was like, "When is From starting? When is From starting?" She's itching. She's itching to talk. So
me too. I'm ready.
With Mom.
Wouldn't it be really, really, extra, really damn cool
Oh God!
If we could talk, and we're talking about Dead City right now, like
I know.
we talk about From.
We're like literally anything else, please.
We're done with it now. We're wrapping the show up as far as
what
this
more is there
show
to
is
say?
concerned. I give this episode
it's very sad.
A 0.5 to a 1 for the death scene of dude we talked about earlier. As far as the episode itself goes, a standalone episode. As far as the season finale episode, I give it a flat 0 because it left me more confused than when I started, and I have no idea where the fuck they're going.
I fully agree with that. Am I the only one who thinks of bagels when I hear Bruegel? I'm always thinking about that. But yeah, no, I'll only give it a point for the cool methane death scene, even though there was something stupid about that too. I give it a point for that, and yeah, it's pretty much a 0 other than that. This is a low point in the franchise for me.
I'm about a 1, and I'm only giving it a 1 because it did make me a little sad when the little girl ended up being a zombie. It did tug at my heartstrings a little bit.
That would have been a really impactful scene, but
it could have been like that. And then they even screwed that scene up. That's why I keep giving them a 0.5 point for the good points. Like for whatever moment that was that was a good moment or had something good about that scene. It's almost as if then they had something else about that scene that took away from it, pissed me off, and I had to give it I took a 0.5 point off.
Yeah, and that's
because him still being stabbed in that moment, like I said, they could have that could have even been better because it just pissed me off all around the way he was like dying and he's sobbing over, which could have been still cool. Like that whole moment's fine, but oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm ranting again.
And as far as like a season finale, I'm about a 0 because there was nothing. Like I normally like to be like, okay, where's the cliffhanger? What are we gonna? And it was just such a bad. We're basically back at the beginning, and that is
2
not
seasons.
Where you want to be.
They ain't done shit.
Yeah, we went in a big circle. Maggie and Negan are friends again, and Pearlie's there too. And I don't care about New Babylon. I don't care about the methane. I don't care about Herschel and Adama. I don't care about Pearlie's kids. I'm sure that's part of next season if that's happening. You know, it's just over. And I'm kind of at the point where it's like I don't even know if I want to watch Daryl Dixon season 3. I mean, I will to cover it with you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be a hard press to get me to watch anything else with this franchise. I haven't watched much.
Yeah, you got to start.
I can't do The Last of Us or whatever we did. I can't do any of that.
No, I will not be doing The Last of Us, but
you don't want to watch.
And there's shows that I watch in the genres that I like. Like, I was really wanting to get into Mayfair Witches. That's horrifying. I couldn't do it. And there's other shows that are probably good. Even what was it? Oh man, I can't even remember it. And that I feel bad because I know a lot of you guys like the show, and I just didn't get into
Paradise.
it. Not Paradise.
Oh,
it's one that
Silo.
Silo. Thank you, Dana. And it's not that it's not good. It's just for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's because we were trying to cover a lot of shows, and I just didn't have the time to properly, enough capacity in my brain to really focus on the show and really absorb it and take the time to enjoy it. But I just didn't catch on with me. And I love shows like that. Like it's within the genre of shows that I like, and the actors are great. Storyline's not bad. It's just, again, we were doing so many. It was just another one where I couldn't remember that. Like then we did Fallout as well, and we were doing all these different kind of shows, and it is hard for me to really there's so many of them, and the good ones will get kind of lost sometimes. But they'll always be there to go back. So, like, at some point, I do hope to go back and get into Dune and some of these other shows that they have a lot of.
I didn't even finish.
Did it fall flat? Okay, because I started it, but I never had the time to really invest in it and follow through with it.
Yeah, I gave up on that. It just wasn't good.
And James, where are you at? I think you said it earlier. But where was your rating again for the?
Yeah, down around a 0 or a 1. I mean, it's just
crap all around.
Wasted potential.
You know, it had a moment here and there, but come on, it's
Wasted potential. Very good to say, Brian. And that alone irritates me above all else. It's the fact that you had such great potential and you just wasted it. I mean,
they always have amazing actors. They always have like top tier.
All that money, all that wasted,
lots of money.
just waste irritates me. It's unnecessary waste too, right?
Well, they could give me one,
here,
like
right,
1% of 1% of that money
of that budget,
do,
right?
Yeah,
and that's what irritates me the most is that these people, the people in Hollywood who are fortunate enough to be able to have the money to produce something with all that, and you waste it on something like this for whatever reason. And I'm sure there's so many. We've talked about all the different reasons why these shows end up doing these stupid decisions or things happen, whatever. And I know, Brian, you even talked about it with like logistics and stuff. There are legitimate things that can happen, but then there's all this other stupid shit. It's like, why do you waste it? There's so many good ideas out there. People would love to have that opportunity, and y'all waste it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's beyond frustrating.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, that's the frustration, is the waste of
making me
potential,
click my pen
talent.
over here. I got one of those pens that have like 5 different colors on it. They're making me click it because I'm irritated.
I just know that Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohan, they have to know, right? They have to know what they're doing. And they have to
care,
out,
right? Like,
maybe do they care? I mean, I feel like
because they straight up like tell you almost like we're the problem. It's our fault, right? Like, how many times do these people in these shows come out? Somebody in the production or the writer, who the fuck ever comes out, we're the problem.
Well, you would think they would look at reviews, because take somebody like Andrew Lincoln. He never watches the show. Like, he doesn't watch the show. A lot of actors, if you listen to interviews, they'll say, I didn't watch that movie. I didn't watch that thing I was in.
It's
right.
fair. I think
it's very common. It's very common, right? So the actors should at least look at reviews and give some feedback. Well, the last season sucked. It seemed like online, dude. I didn't watch it, but everybody else did, and it seemed like it sucked. But it seems like they see it on the page and they think it's going to be good, and they act it out, and in the edit, maybe it don't come together, but I think we all see that it comes from the writing room. It's not the production messed it up, or the actors messed it up, or the editing messed it up, or something. It's like, no, it was shit in, shit out. Right. From the get-go.
The writing is always the first domino to fall.
It's like,
if the writing's not good, everything else kind of falls around it.
And it makes you ask that question.
If there's not a good script,
but it makes you ask that question: is it too many shelves in the kitchen, or do they not see it, or do they see it? That's the question. Do they realize it's not a coherent story?
Yeah.
Do they care?
But then this is where it's going to come into play. You have all these writers. We just got off that writer's strike of all these writers demanding all this stuff, and you get it. It's not easy being a writer. Nobody's knocking the hustle or the work people put in. But it's like, you're demanding all this stuff, but you're producing such crap.
And they wonder why AI is going to take over. All right, you can't bitch about AI and then produce shit.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why people, even indie people who maybe they're not a writer, maybe they're not an artist or not a musician, but they're tired of seeing this shit. And they're like, oh man, I can go online and find a program. And if I am savvy enough with computers and at least imaginative enough, right? You can create something that it's not a great work by any means, but compared to what we're getting in Hollywood, it passed. What is this like? I'm not fuck. Damn, it's my favorite Joker line. I'm too high to fucking think of it. I'm not like the smartest guy in the room. I'm just ahead of the curve. So you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You don't have to produce the best thing. But because the bar is set so low, someone with enough savvy and enough creativity who's done played with enough things in their life, they can create something with partner with a few people who also have just enough know-all to be able to create programs.
It's happening online. You see the like Bigfoot's vlog or whatever, right. And all these things that are popping up. People are making bank, even if it's a short-lived trend or something. some people are making bank with stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I saw one that's like George Washington crossing the Delaware. Yeah. It's like a vlog he's doing. Like,
so it's, you know, some people are getting real creative, and it's the early days even with AI. So they were talking about, you know, even in the big world of marketing, how you know, how people consume TikTok in short little snippets. Some companies they've researched that have 3 to 5 second ads versus these long ones, you know, are doing better than companies with long ads, and just little things like that. So it's just the way we consume stuff. So, you know, it's like we're talking, you know, we could do our own little thing. We really could at this point, even more so than ever before.
Well, especially like, because Dana, you've networked with so many different people since we started really getting into streaming, that the amount of people that we've met that have done different things in their lives, that, like I said, between movies, TV, whatever, you know, whatever they are, music, and if you just get them, everybody can come together. It's almost as if we can create something better than this. At least it may not be the greatest work, right? We may not be the biggest,
at least have more heart and passion,
right? And it would be better than this, because they're setting the bar so low, and that's the problem all around with everything today, is that the bar is set so low that it doesn't take much to create something.
This show is people punching a clock. They can't wait to get home after work that day. You know, this isn't their passion, you know, in life. Making Dead City, you know, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't. And speaking of something else that is that I was watching, I don't know if you guys know, but as YouTubers, it's something that's going to affect all of us. I guess a lawsuit has just recently been established by somebody, and fair use is going to be coming up into the discussion.
Oh, you're talking about the H3 lawsuit?
Yeah. And that's something that's going to affect everybody. He is suing these. Well, just when it comes to new laws, when it comes to fair use in the form of being a react, because me, James, and Scarlet have always kind of sat here when we're watching a trailer, when we're doing certain stuff, how we have to only watch 7 seconds before we're getting worried about, you know, are we going to get struck? Are we going to get hit? And all these things. But you have these reaction channels that are reacting to certain things. And yes, it's other streamers' content, it's movies, it's trailers that, and again, we don't know if they are making money otherwise, so they don't give a shit whether that video gets demonetized. A lot of things are coming into play, but this lawsuit, I have a feeling, is going to change what's going to be considered fair use and how you go about fair use.
Well, it's consistent. Like they had a lawsuit before where they defended their own fair use of reacting to somebody else's video, and the arguments he's using against the people that he's suing, it's the same arguments that he was using in court the first time, and it's basically about it kind of is about defending fair use, but you have to transform it. You can't just like have the video play and barely say anything and walk away when you go to the bathroom, leave the video playing. You know, it's setting a standard, and I actually think it's a good thing that he's doing that. It's not Disney or somebody else doing.
But it's different with But YouTube treats some of these things differently, like between someone doing a video and someone live streaming. So when we took a clip of Yellow Jackets, and I wanted to show the clip, and now it was a few minutes long, but because of what the clip was and how they're showing these different flashes, you know, how they do those weird trippy moments, and you kind of have to go through the clip. Now, we didn't watch like the whole clip and then react. We tried to stop it, watch a little bit of it and stop it, but you would have to sometimes watch longer than 5 seconds to really be able to talk about a part of the clip. But they made it to where I had to take that out of the video. I think it took the whole stream down.
Yeah, it's Content ID. That's just an automated system. It doesn't know.
But how do I But what do I do about that? Like, how do I fight that?
That's what I'm saying. Like
you can appeal it, but yeah, eventually.
What's considered fair use? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't fight it.
How is that?
Because I understand. I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm right there with you. I mean.
Because like David says, we watch these guys that watch videos where they watch a whole music video kind of, and they're reacting to it.
So you can look at sites like Daryl. There was a YouTube channel, Daryl Dixon, and he would only put clips and trailers and stuff of The Walking Dead. And then that channel disappeared, and then another one popped up, and then that one disappeared. So you know, it's not even doing it now. Let's say you said, well, MGM doesn't care, so I'm going to show some longer scenes of From or whatever, and maybe you don't get tagged in that moment when you upload it, but you want your channel to be successful. And then even if it's a year from now, YouTube changes the rules, and now that video will get flagged. The bot will find it. So it's like,
or MGM could get bought, like with Amazon, and they have a different opinion, and they want to claim everything.
Totally. So you really, it comes down to, you got to look out for yourself and how you want your channel to be from that point on. Like, do you want
because
it sucks. But it's just like, what it is.
I'm not going to show scenes of certain shows like this one. I don't particularly want to show scenes of this to captivate what we need to discuss, right? But when we talk about these really theory crafting shows, I think are the ones that I harp on the most. Evil, From, Yellow Jackets,
right?
Lost. Kind of shows where a screenshot is not enough for the fans to captivate a moment and for us to discuss a moment. We're not doing it to just like rip off the network.
I know.
I wish there was a way that between the networks and the streamers, we could have a better relationship where they didn't come after us like that. And now I get it if somebody were to just play it outright and they're playing like just ridiculously playing out episodes. I understand that, and they're not clipping it appropriately. Full sound.
Like some of these Twitch guys they react to a full episode of Top Chef. You know, like that's the thing they'll do, or watch like anime and stuff. And they're just those people being unchecked on Twitch are going to have like the worst like lawsuits from those companies against all of us. We'll all get screwed over.
Can you think of if people are going through YouTube and they see a live stream and we're showing one clip of an episode, an hour episode, and the clip is between 1 minute and 4 minutes out of the entire episode, and we're not just showing it outright, we're stopping and going through it, and we're showing how awesome the effects, like we're breaking down, because when we did Evil, we broke down in the episode not just the scene and what it showed because you're watching the episode, but we broke down, oh man, can you tell the effects? They used all different kinds of effects in that show when they did the different demons and monsters and stuff. It wasn't all CGI, and they even had the after show stuff that broke down how they did those effects. That got more people to want to watch the show. What better promotion?
Yeah.
It's just
fair use is like,
well, I get rules, but come on, it's almost like
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear you. I've been there. I say it myself still.
Well, and that's why
I've been saying it for years and years and years.
Because YouTube, you're going to make people who really get into this it's not going to be it. Yeah. They'll find other ways to do this without making the money here, because there's so many people are going to try to find to make money a different way out of YouTube.
Yeah, I don't see it changing just because of what it is and
damn corporations.
And everything.
Piece of shit.
So I've tried everything. I've tried to I want to play 12 seconds. So I'm going to,
like you said, it's
I'm
really
going to shrink it. I'm going to shrink
it
in the timeline down to
reverse it. Put a watermark over it.
I'm going to go down to 7 seconds, and it's just going to play really fast.
If they decide to do it or not, like I said, you get away with it.
Nothing seems to work, right? Yeah.
And I mean, I'm surprised we get away with what we got away with sometimes, but then again, it's like, now they start to hit you on other stuff, and I'm like, all right, well, if that's the rules, that's fine. Then we won't do any of that, and then I'm not going to promote the shows in the same light that we were doing previously, because we're going to really, I mean, if we're getting to use the content in a proper way, then of course we're going to, we get to really talk about it. It's not like we're promoting it because we're getting kickback. It's like, no, we're able to really show off what this show is and really discuss it. That's going to promote people to want to engage. Like we're, drumming up that engagement. We're helping to get that engagement, and people going on Twitter and Reddit and all that kind of stuff, right? Like you want to drum that up, because even with Evil, they had that contests going on Reddit. So I'm like, hey guys, look, this is on the Reddit. Go to the Reddit. Go to this. Go to that. Right? Drumming up the support for that show and that contest. Then to get strikes, or not like bad, not a strike, but to get, you know, any kind of claim, or, you know, oh, we can't show it here. Any of that kind of stuff really does irritate you when you feel like you're trying to be part of a community and they're like, we want community, but that's not that kind of community. You're getting a little too far because you showed an extra 30 seconds. How dare you? Slap you on the wrist. I don't know. I'm ranting, and I get it, James.
That's
I'm
the problem.
talking to a wall, and it doesn't matter.
Let's say you're selling a product, though, instead of reviewing a TV show. Let's say you're selling a product that people will actually buy, and you play, you know, Rolling Stones in the background, and you call it the name of the Rolling Stones song just to get people to click on it and to hear what you got to sell. But the Rolling Stone, you know, the song is playing, and you're going to get copyrighted for it because you don't care about that. You don't care about your channel in that kind of way. You don't care if it's got a copyright strike, because a lot of them will say this isn't a strike necessarily against your channel. This is just a flag, a copyright flag that you can't monetize this video. The
just a
owner,
claim, right?
It's just a claim that you can't monetize it, but the other guy can. And if you don't just claim it or whatever, that's just the way it's going to be. It's not a strike. Yeah. Right.
They do have a thing in the back end that shows you what songs you can play.
But if you're selling a product, you don't care about that. And you do start selling products.
Well, I understand it when you're talking about selling a product.
But I'm just saying that's a system. That's the
difference. So that's why I said, like,
that's what I'm saying. That's a system they have figured out that
there's a difference. So like between us talking about
copyright thing,
technically like promoting, as opposed to me.
That's just a system they don't have figured out yet. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's a system they don't have figured out yet. As far as, okay,
and I totally agree
how can we separate?
I would never
how
say
can we separate the reviewers out of the people just trying to show clips all day long?
Well, you know, that sounds like there's a lot of jobs there for people to actually be able to go in through those claims, as opposed to using bots. But would that go into the damn budget a little too much? I mean, they do, but look at how much ad revenue they get. I mean, outrageous the ads are.
It's just hard to
tell me there's not money. There's money for them to pay people to actually go through these claims properly.
I mean, they already do have hundreds of people all around the world, maybe even thousands.
Well, I mean, people are worried about AI taking the jobs away, but clearly it seems like people would do better at this. I mean, it's a job's a job, no?
I don't know.
Now that's not a pro.
No, I'm just saying we're suddenly in the future.
Everybody loves to fucking shake their head at me when I ask questions.
We're suddenly in the future, as far as who knows.
I'm asking questions, trying to figure it out, and I get fucking scuffs and smirks and head shakes.
Hey, you just don't ask those kind of questions at NASA.
God damn it! You know what? I'm going to the kitchen. Who wants a sandwich?
No, this is
that's where the hooded men will get you in the kitchen.
They're waiting.
You know what? God damn it! I need another vacation from the vacation. Where are they taking me?
Yeah, let's go.
But that is basically what it's going to come down to, is because on Twitch, it's a different ball game than it is here on YouTube. Definitely. They get to get away with a lot more stuff.
Not just that. What's the other one? Kick, Rumble.
Not for long. Yeah, there's Kick and Rumble.
But that's what I'm
saying. Rumble, you
can
get away with whatever. Pretty much.
I have a feeling that,
and like I said, I don't mind there being a difference between you using someone's stuff to market your product to make a profit. Like, yes, I don't even mind if YouTube wants to do where if they want to claim because I use so much of their clip that I only get so much of the money off of the stream. Like, they want to work a system out like that. I'm okay with that. 50-50. Fine. If you still got to get your fucking 50 cents, because first of all, I'm bitching about it because first of all, I'm not even making that much off of a stream when it comes to monetization. We're talking a few dollars for every stream, right? Maybe at best, just because we got a lot of numbers in or something, because I don't have full monetization. I don't get full ad revenue. I think one of them might have been like $15 or something that I ended up getting off of a stream just for the monetization revenue. And that's me being very liberal with that without me going back and looking at my analytics and shit. So I'm not even going to really get that much. So what they're making off of, like, the money that's being made off of that to begin with is, in the grand scheme of fucking entertainment money, is pennies, right? So you want fucking half of the $15, take it. But like, I'm actually doing something too. It's not as if we're not adding something. We're not just like, I see people who try to get away with showing off TV shows, and they do the weird thing with like
the
Family Guy.
React.
Well, no, not even that. You can go on and watch Family Guy now. The channel will get taken down.
Yeah.
They'll redo it, and
like
they'll
TikTok,
do all those
there's
different.
A lot of those. Yeah.
They'll do all these different camera tricks where you don't quite see the whole episode. You see most of the episode, or they'll do the weird trick where the view goes in weird, or they're only showing half of the frame. I mean, I can go into a CapCut and do all those weird effects to the video, so it does all the different little. So they get away with it. They call it where you're transforming it just enough. You put a little static over a couple seconds. You know, all that different stuff is how you slightly get away with it. So how I was getting away with certain things was through effects, video edits, putting all those little things on top of it. You put a little flame on top of it, right? Put little bubbles here. You cut the audio out here and add a different music that's allowed here. You got 3 seconds of talking, cut it out to some other audio. Do a little transition to this that, you know, waves it in, waves it out. So you don't have the image, you know, itself is only being played for like 3 seconds because it's being affected. So they consider that transformative, right? Because you added your own creative visual spin to the video that was given, right? That's the transformative part of it, but it's still a fine line. You have to be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm rambling on.
It's not
there was
just
a point
YouTube
being made. What's up, Vic?
It's not just YouTube. It's actually each rights holder treats it differently. So one may let you kind of use it more so, and another one may not
Disney's
let you use it at all.
Good. Like you can use Disney clips and it doesn't really matter. But if I show like 10 seconds of a Warner Brothers movie trailer, even just the trailer that's already on YouTube that is out there as an ad, they'll block my video where I'm trying to tell people to buy a ticket to the movie. You know,
exactly.
It's so annoying.
That's what I'm saying.
A better system at working
they don't,
that out.
Yeah, they don't have that system, and just trying to look ahead with AI coming and everything. I don't know if they will ever work it out before
they could, though.
Something changes.
This AI bot that YouTube has now, I've been using it like at work. I work for a YouTube channel, and one of the things I'm supposed to do is live stream clips. And I ask, you can, if you have premium, you can ask the app, the AI chatbot, some questions about the video. And I just ask it, hey, what are some noteworthy moments in this stream? And it gives me timestamps and here's what happens when, and it's actually pretty good. So I think we can get to a point where we have a chatbot that can reliably say, like, this is clearly for the purpose of criticism that is using this content. I think there is potential with some of the AI tools to be able to actually define what is transformative and what isn't. You know, that we're in this ambiguous time where lawsuits like this that we're talking about with Twitch and stuff are going to set a precedent where there is a standard, and it's going to be hopefully easier once we know what the rules are. But we're in the space where, like you said, the copyright holders define the rules,
and that's the thing, you know. That's hard for me to see as a decision by somebody, even YouTube. Even if YouTube said it's going to be like this, they still don't have to go by that. It's like, you know, who's going to actually force everyone to play by that same rule?
Well, again, to me, it doesn't matter what system we put in order. It's about the people running the system. So it's twofold. It's both YouTube and the person holding the copyright claim. So the person holding the copyright claim, who is claiming it to begin with, when they're bot or who the fuck ever flags it, when we're doing what we're doing here, where we feel like, like we just said, all the reasons why we feel like we should be allowed to do it, because we're promoting, so on and so forth. We're doing it for justified, what we feel is justified moral reasons. We're not trying to be shady. We're not trying to rip them off. There should be a system for them to be able to understand that. But then the problem comes in is when they claim it, right? YouTube is not very clear, because if we wanted to dispute that, even if they had a system where they're saying, okay, that is allowed, from my understanding, it's not easy to go to YouTube and just try to fight a claim or even try to understand what the claim is even about or all that kind of stuff. Like it's almost like you can't talk to anybody or figure shit out.
Well, what happens is you appeal the thing, it goes to a human, and they decide yes or no, but they don't tell you why yes or no. They just
you can't
decide yes or no.
You can't talk to that human. It's just the little whatever check mark little thing you put on the that's
part
all
of it is
know.
for a fair reason, because if they came out and said like, okay, you can't say these words, people will come up with new words that mean the same thing. You know, people will.
But we still have to understand, like, why is it? Like you're saying that. Otherwise, it's like, I don't know. They can do whatever they want to. So you're using their platform. I understand that. So we have to work within the rules. Just, it is very frustrating. It leads to a lot of frustration.
But the thing is, like, if you dispute,
and it's a lot that the networks are losing out on, right? Because to be fair, what we're trying to do, they're losing out on the benefit of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's a net negative if they have two iron fists for sure. But like the thing is with YouTube is, sure, they have somebody who looks over the copyright. You're like, okay, I have fair use rights to use this content in my content for purpose of criticism, you know, and they look at it and they say no, and then you appeal it, and then they say no again. And then if you want to appeal it after that, YouTube washes their hands of it and says, it's not up to us. You got to take the copyright holder to court. It's the court is the one who decides. They kind of have this weird thing where like they're trying to appease copyright holders by having things like content ID. But at the end of the day, they say we're a platform. We're not the ones breaking copyright. We can't be held liable for other people violating copyright on our platform. We're washing our hands of it. The courts decide. And, you know, nobody has money if you just have a simple YouTube video to fight it in court. Nobody's going to.
And I have seen some YouTubers who have even come out and said how they've had to fight YouTube and copyright things over, and they legit just have a lawyer for YouTube and copyrights because these companies try to push around stuff when they're like, look, man, what I'm doing is not really legal. You're just being a jerk about it.
We have a few court cases that protected fair use. So we have some like precedent to say like, yes, you can use other people's content for purpose of criticism. We have the original H3 lawsuit when they had, I forget the name of the people who sued them, but they won that by saying we transform it. We're criticizing them. We need to use this. And there was another, I think Sargon of Akkad, I think had another lawsuit where he came over from the UK to fight fair use in the US. And he ended up winning that as well. And his video was actually it was 100% somebody else's content, but cut in such a way that it was making a point, like an ironic point. And the title and like the fact that there's like two, the beginning and end of a certain video put together with a title that has the critical aspect in there. That was enough to be considered fair use. So there's enough precedent that you could probably win a case if you are actually being transformative. But these Twitch streamers that barely react to anything, they probably couldn't. And I think that's what the H3 lawsuit is about right now. It's actually, I think, it's going to have the effect of protecting fair use, but it will definitely bring Twitch more in line with where YouTube is at now. I think they'll have to.
Basically what he's saying is it's in the three Twitch streamers that he's suing. In each of the videos at some point they actually state, which I was shocked that they were that stupid.
I know,
to state
it's so dumb.
like this. They literally state that they are showing their reaction to the video just to take away views and stuff from the original creator of the videos. And that's
it's a watch party.
Illegal.
Watch it with me so you don't have to give any attention to that terrible video.
What's illegal. You're not allowed to take somebody else's content, take money away from them, and then proceed to use it for your own, subscribe, send me money, donations.
She was
whatever.
Like, send me money because you're not giving it to him. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, like they were actually each stupid enough to state that that's actually what they're doing.
Yeah, I can see, and that's what I'm saying. That's wrong. Like, us wanting to talk about, us wanting to really dissect a TV show. And like I said, it's very particular, right? Like what I'm talking about wanting to do is very particular to certain shows. and dissecting it and getting to talk about it. Now, we may have a negative opinion about it, but it's not because we went in there wanting to have a negative opinion and want to capitalize on a negative opinion.
They need the 50-50 system, but they just don't have it, you know?
And I hope they work that out. Like, okay, I get it. Even if it sucks for a while, I'm hoping that they work it out, because to be like you're kind of losing a little bit of potential and a good relationship if this is the way people are going. Because otherwise, with someone like me, I will stop watching certain shows if that's how it's going to be. And I'll look into more indie things that are willing to understand that kind of a relationship, or we'll just create our own shit. I'm real hard.
It's hard because, you know, everybody's getting understanding bots and how to, you know, do that. It's getting more commonplace, and that's the thing. Even 50-50, it's like, it seems like it would be a win-win for both sides, but maybe not. You know, maybe there's somebody that could tell me some type of argument that it's not as good for advertisers for some reason, or you know, throw in some third party,
just create your own stuff and just
show
off your own stuff,
that's where everything's going, and
that's why everybody creates their own shit now. That's why everybody.
That's what I'm saying. We're on the edge of we're like on the edge of a sword almost, in that regard, that AI is here. And we're about to go over the other side of that. And
we're going to do it to ourselves. Like, everybody gets all pissed off about AI, but the lack of community is going to cause AI to take over. Because once you lose community, that's where AI takes advantage.
Yeah. I mean, I do see the future more of there's not going to be a Disney per se as much as there was kind of organizations like that in the past, where it's a huge thing, a conglomerate almost. There's going to be a whole lot of little bitty studios, and it's like YouTube. Like, when I started my channel, I didn't like, even today, The Walking Dead isn't my most favorite show of all time, but why did I start a channel on it? It was a great show at the time, and it was the number one show in the world. So here we go. Right. So the thing is, as things play out, the way that, you know, the future's going and everything, I've already lost track of what I was saying.
I know it's getting late. I know I'm even starting to lose where I was going with all my rants. But we can pick it up tomorrow night for sure. Because I'm willing to talk more about how much things irritate me and all the things that we like. Because it'd be Friday Night Fever, so we can get all super excited and mad and whatever. Yes. Go over some trailers and see if we don't get a strike tomorrow night for watching a horror movie trailer. And Dave, real quick, if you guys in the chat and everybody who watches after, let us know in the comments and in the Discords any other like movie trailers, horror, sci-fi, TV shows that you guys want to check out. We'll check that out tomorrow night. On my channel, or like I said, we're looking at around, honestly, let's go for around 8:30 Eastern, if that's still okay, Dana. That way we'll have a lot of time and lots of things we'll get into.
No, yeah. I was just going to say, it all comes down to what is going to be considered fair use. Because fair use, whether you're critiquing a content creator or whether you're critiquing a show, I mean, I feel like everything's just lumped up into the bubble. So reviewers can't review unless you're big enough to get the okay, which I think some of these bigger channels do, like Emergency Awesome, like some of the other bigger channels out there.
Well, yeah, like Star Wars Explained, or like big channels like that. Yeah, they get like special treatment from the companies. They get free stuff. They get flown out places and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it that's why I think Hollywood is, unfortunately, I think, on its last leg. And it's going to come down to people who are sick of Hollywood making their own Hollywood. Because they're just going to be sick of it. I mean, we're already starting to see that a lot of these shows, a lot of stuff isn't even filmed in the United States anymore. They're outsourcing because it's even become too expensive to film in certain places.
Tax breaks in the UK and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's just and
Well, supposedly they're
more
going to
that
tariff that, which I don't know how that's going to work. It makes no sense at all.
Well,
But
That's
we'll see.
kind of reminded me though,
Yeah.
Dan. That's what I was going to say about everybody doing their own little thing of when I started the YouTube channel. All that kind of rant was, I knew that I probably wouldn't be the biggest channel, but I could have a little tiny piece of the pie, right? And sometimes that's all it takes. If you can get your niche and if you can get your little group, your community, you know, the people that watch you, your audience, if you can get that, even if it's a little bit, it may not be Disney big, but it could be big enough that you could actually have, like, put out some other stuff and have a following and, you know, that kind of thing. I think there'll be a lot of little guys as opposed to anymore a lot of big guys going forward.
yeah. And I think that might be for the best.
Hopefully,
yeah,
yes,
hopefully. Yeah. Although I do love some big Hollywood movies, you know.
Yeah, I think we can reach that level. Like some little dude in Japan will come out with something that's bigger than any Hollywood thing, you know, soon.
Could
you know,
be.
using
That's
AI,
that's happening right
using
now.
AI and stuff.
Asian,
you know,
the Asian shows are killing it. Like
And
they
even like Godzilla
are-
-1 was like a fraction of like probably what even this show that we're talking about is. Like it's probably one episode's worth of Dead City made all of that money because it was very successful. So we got to
Sure
learn from
was.
them how to consolidate the teams, you know, and not just spend a bunch of money for no reason, you know.
But they also know how to make good adaptations. They are not known to truly destroy. Like if they're making an adaptation of something, they try to stand true to it. I've maybe seen one adaptation that I thought was like it was not good because of they did change a lot to it, but it was a big production and I understood why. Attack on Titans, if you see their live adaptation of it, it changed a lot and it was very cheesy looking. Like you could tell they jumped the gun on it. They didn't it looked very cheap, very fake, very it wasn't their best, but it still wasn't bad.
What
But
I've seen
like
with
a lot of their
oh sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say what I've seen a lot of with like anime and stuff is they do stay true to it, like you said, but almost to a fault because they will catch up to where the comic is, the manga, and then they will have to make their own. They make filler episodes. So like the show Naruto will just have seasons and seasons
Oh no,
and seasons of
that
just,
was horrible.
yeah, just terrible episodes. But that's because they're trying to stay faithful, so they're waiting for the manga so that they can adapt the real story, you know?
Yes.
And I think most of us would just
Yes.
rather they just take time off.
So I'm actually looking forward to we have Alice in Borderland coming up. I know All of Us Are Dead is finally, I believe, going to drop sometime next year. And now I've been telling Scarlet, you want to watch a zombie show to where you want more zombie? All of Us Are Dead. You get zombies. You get zombies, and they show you what like these fucking. It's pretty fucking brutal, but the story within it's actually really good, and it's interesting. And it's like they almost break the fourth wall because they call them zombies and they reference Train to Busan being a movie. They're like zombies from Train to Busan. So they actually like fourth wall break in the show. So they know that they're zombies. They call them zombies.
and
there's
they're all
like
teenagers.
there's this yep, and there's a scene where 911 like the Japanese version of 911 is getting all these calls that there's zombies at the local high school and the cops like don't believe them. They've seen too many movies and then like finally they're believing it because now they're getting 1,000 phone calls so they can't just say it was one or two pranksters because like all of a sudden so they're very aware of what they're dealing with and it's really good.
All right,
Nice.
I'll have to like I said, you know, it's on the list, I'm sure.
It's good. It's really good.
I'll have to catch up here soon on some of that stuff. Now that maybe we got a break in between things.
It's gritty. It's gritty. I mean, it has something that shows like The Walking Dead and Dead City. You know, Daryl and Dead City doesn't.
All right. All right, if this one doesn't get me though, that's the third one. And I hate to say, 3 strikes you're out. You can't get me with another TV show that has to do with zombies or whatever.
And if you
we didn't even get into Resident Evil stuff.
If you don't like
movies
that
and
show,
the games,
you're not gonna like zombie stuff. I'll never mention another zombie show. Because you obviously don't like zombie stuff if you don't like that.
Well, look, man, I'm just saying.
Praise.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Check it out.
I actually felt for the characters. It was.
I'm going to get.
It had a story. Had a story to it, and I wasn't expecting the ending.
For The Walking Dead.
Can't wait for the second season.
For The Last of Us.
Yeah, it's good. All of Us Are Dead is definitely, and it's a different spin. It's definitely a different spin. They give you new.
What was that other one you wanted me to watch, Dana? That was like another. It was like set in Japan or something. It was like old school.
Oh my God. Oh.
There was another one I was supposed to check out too.
Yes.
Those were the 2 that I was supposed to really enjoy. That was outside of like American bullshit. That might be the thing there. See. It's not because zombies suck. It's because American zombies suck.
Kingdom.
No, there's
Kingdom.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yes. Now, not the movie. The movie sucked. The Netflix movie sucked, and you just watch the TV show version.
That's backward ass as hell. Over here, the movie fucking rocks and the TV show sucks. What the fuck? Is it just because?
Well, no, it was like the first season, like Kingdom itself, it had what would be considered controversy over there. One of its actors on the show did something very bad in their eyes. I forget what it was. And when you do that, typically if you're on a TV show and you get like something bad like this, the whole TV show ends up going down, or the whole show, because it's now considered, bad, and it's very hard for a show to come back.
Bad, karma
after
and stuff
something like that. So something.
God forbid you get and I'm serious, man. You be careful. Like, I watch Shudder. That shit's creepy as fuck.
Anybody watch Revival?
Is a good show.
Revival. Anybody watching that?
Is that good?
Yeah, I watched the first couple of episodes, so I'll let y'all know. But it is good, but it has a couple of little things,
Like,
you could probably.
Yeah, that's the zombie show, right?
Like I said, tomorrow night.
It's creepy.
Willing to look at things and talk about all things horror sci-fi that maybe we should be getting into. Well, we got to redo our list because we have so many.
We'll even show you the trailer to the first season of All of Us Are Dead, and you could at least get an idea. We'll see
how much trouble we get in with YouTube.
Yeah, maybe off stream.
We'll figure it out.
Scarlet, you better wear your Depend undergarments. It's gonna be scary.
What the fuck?
And maybe even we'll find some time to where maybe we'll do like a little recap or something here after you guys kind of check it out.
Yeah, I'm down to watch that one. Yeah, you guys got to let me know what shows to watch because I'm not keeping up with what's coming out.
And that's what I said. Maybe so. You guys in the chat and those who watch after, definitely let us know in the comments after or in the Discord, just anywhere.
It's been so long. It's been so long on All of Us Are Dead. It was said at high school kids, they have to all be adults by now. It's actually been so long since season 1.
So that way, if you guys let us know, I may be able to, between tonight and tomorrow, have a list put up together. I got to get back into making lists, Dana.
Yes, we do. But I know we're definitely going to be covering Alice in Borderland, which starts, I believe, in September. So we're going to watch that as well. And Brian, if you haven't seen, you want to check it out and join the discussion.
But how many seasons do I have to catch up on?
I think it's 2, but they're short. They're not long seasons, and it's worth the watch. It's another. Now it's not zombie. It's not anything like that. It's just because I don't want to say anything and spoil it, but it's good.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll put it on the list.
And they were still working on the campaign, guys. Slowly but surely, we will be ready to relaunch the campaign. Still working on some of the artwork. It's moving along. Pretty much done with some of the animals, so we'll be showing off more of Liam's artwork before the campaign and work out some things with that. And Brian, James, what do you guys got going on? Go ahead, tell the people, put it out there.
Oh, pretty soon here I'm going to be reviewing Clementine Book 3. It's a Walking Dead spin-off comic book. The first 2 books were absolutely terrible, and I did feature-length reviews annihilating it, and I plan to finish out the series, so that's the next big video I got going on. And I've been taking a break from content, so I'm kind of working on things in the background, and I'm going to be making a comeback relatively soon, so definitely stay tuned on my channel.
Nice. Definitely go subscribe to Brian if you're not already.
Yes, please.
Yes,
Much
all
appreciated.
the links, everything is in the description of the video. So James's channels, even the More Dead stuff, ShookEarth Media, I even put up your website. So the link to his website should also be up there. And
yeah,
Scarlet
right now my
stuff,
website just redirects to YouTube, but yeah, ShookEarth.com if you want to go that way.
Nice.
Or ShookEarthMedia.com.
I figured might as well. Might as well.
Yeah. No, appreciate
and then I know we need to do some Walking Dead stuff together.
Yeah.
That would be James's. That would be behind James. I just show up. James does all the hard work. I just get involved.
I know you putting out videos regularly.
Oh, just the usual crap, It's my last video.
Farm?
Yeah, the last video was the rant about Scott Gimple saying that stuff about the timeline. So it was just a rant
I need to
video.
watch that one.
And I hate doing rants. I would love to be happy and saying,
I know, right? You keep saying like, "Oh, Scarlet, you're not satisfied." I do hate having to feel like we're negative.
It sucks. I want a good show that I like.
But at least it's honest. At least it's honest. I'd rather hear you rant about something than you sit there and try to feed me the garbage and it was good and try to find all these points to make it seem good. Like some of these bigger, what you're watching is hot garbage, but some of these bigger channels will be like, oh, that scene was so thought out where Maggie was in the catacombs being, PTSD from watching Glenn and it was so moving and emotional and
it must mean that Rick's coming back.
Yeah,
right.
The reunion is happening next episode. I swear.
I'll take an honest rant over fucking hot garbage lies of you trying to find something.
I know,
to make it
and that's thank you very much, and it's understandable. But I just wish it'd be good and I could talk good stuff. Wouldn't that be great?
Same.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah,
but you're getting a lot there, right, James? You got 2 channels you got going off, and you're
slowly
videos. See, I don't want to say daily, but I just know my feed does see your videos pop up quite often, and I just like I want to ask about the farm just because I like things that have to do with the farm. I have my own garden, which is right now.
Come on out and shoot some guns any old time.
No, I won't do. Yeah, I didn't get to make it.
Down.
James.
Let's go.
I'm actually pretty bummed.
Yeah,
I wanted to come see the farm.
That's probably going to be. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm trying to think of stuff to do for the members. I only have a few, a handful, but still, they are members. So I want to try to do videos, and I can never, I could release one a little early for them, a day early or something, but that just don't seem, like I want to give them some content other people don't get, right? Only the members get.
Yep.
So I thought I have to set up and shoot my guns maybe and video it.
Why not?
Watch James and his ammo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Here's my apocalypse setup and all the traps I made.
Here's what not to do. Here's what to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it sounds like good content to me.
No.
Here's what not to do if the zombies end up coming.
It would be a very non-polished kind of video.
This is the best type. Raw.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Be aware. Be self-conscious.
Yeah. Thank you guys, everyone who joined us tonight on panel and in the chat. Miss Dana, we'll let you wrap up any other.
Yep. Thank you guys so much. And yes, like we said, the campaign's going to be coming soon. We're starting to get everything together for that. So stay tuned for some Dungeons and Dragons, and there might be some special villains among us that might be joining the party.
That's why I put him. Look, Dana, It's intentional of where the placement of the panel. I would be at the very top, but you're DM, so look, I recognize rank, but I ranked him way the fuck away from me. As far as I could within the panel and the hierarchy.
Yeah, when you're more powerful.
It's your channel, your DM, so I can't outrank you, but to keep him as far away from me as possible. Otherwise, I have to do this. Hang on. We can do this.
Wow. Wow.
That might have been
That's magic.
That's is that really how
Brian,
it is? There's
I'm
beef.
sorry, you're in the middle.
I have no sides, okay?
We're rusty. We're rusty.
There.
It's okay.
I'm the peacemaker, okay?
I'm leaving out of the door. You can't see the door over here, but I'm trying to get away from Abraxas. I mean James. I can't.
I'm intrigued now. I might have to check out this campaign.
I'm a pretty cool guy once you get to know me.
Have you, Dana? Again, have you hadn't given him his full character sheet, right?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm waiting for the moment he gets to read the kind of villain he is. Then he'll understand why I wouldn't want to be around him.
No, I'm just saying, don't be scared. Come a little closer.
No, I'm good.
Within 10 squares, please.
No, you piece of shit.
I'm not holding a doomsday weapon behind my back or anything.
Right? I know, Dana. Look, the guys on our campaign, because of their fuckery, and it's not like major fuckery, but tweaking their shit, Dana has to tweak Abraxas' shit. I'm like, God damn it. What's up, EJ?
Hi, EJ. What's up, man?
Hi, honey. Oh, yes. I already tweaked it a little bit. I sent James his little updated stuff. Yeah. I told them, don't play with me. Don't play with me. And they want to play with me. So
they had to do anything. God damn it. They're gonna make me have, and then we'll be right back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, we have a lot of stuff coming and we're almost done with the artwork and we got some more practices we're gonna do. But we're chugging along.
Guys, and figured out that when you load a normal arrow onto your bow, that's a standard action. I learned that.
Correct.
I thought it was a free action. Apparently it's not. Oof. Shit. You learn things in practice.
That's good.
And that matters. Trust me.
Yes.
It matters.
Now there's a feat you could take to make it a free action, but I don't think you're at that level yet
because I only can have so many feats right now. So I'm banking on us somehow getting a dice roll, and just like the last campaign where I rolled like hella good for feats, I get that same luck this time around.
Hopefully, the reward sheet will definitely be brought back into play, but it might be saved for the bigger battles. And
I know it ain't coming at the beginning. We're gonna have to get to level 10 before we see that shit, but it's all right. We'll get there, and I'll be able to load.
No, it's gonna.
You know what? It's gonna be fun. You know what? If you go back to your goddamn dungeon, goddamn asshole, piece of shit.
But no, it's really cool. I've been working with some Etsy shops, and I have some cool miniatures, and we're gonna be doing new board setups. And Nick is literally building me so much stuff. He's sending me stuff for a forest. He's sending me houses. He even made some cool monsters that, like, I was looking at them and I was like, oh, is that a monster? He was like, it sure is. I was like, that thing looks cool. Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. Like, he's printing me so much stuff. So now, mind you, I'm gonna have to paint it. But we will power through. Like I don't know. People say, "Oh, painting's so relaxing." I'm sitting there trying to paint this
tiny,
stuff, and
you have to be able to see it and everything. It can be a little harder than just painting other things.
I want to smash.
It's a different kind of like frustration.
So yes, because at least like when I draw, because I hand draw like all my maps, at least I can make that to scale. So I can work with it and see what I'm doing. These little, I have to have my glasses, a magnifying glass, and these tiny little friggin'
Can you imagine
brushes.
trying to put the color on the eye?
Oh my gosh.
Some of the bitch is like, bless you, Dana.
Too much for me. Too much precision.
That's why I try to tell the guys to leave Dana alone. Like, they don't understand. She's gonna fucking kill us in the campaign.
Oh
Well, but it's
man.
gonna be fun because at least it's gonna give us it's gonna be a real nice like 3D type of board, and it
Right.
should make like on the camera it should look a lot better because things are gonna pop off the board and like that's what I'm really trying to do. I want to bring the traditional game back to D&D to where I feel like right now everybody's playing in some kind of virtual setting on the computer. And now, mind you, it's not bad. It's not awful, but
And we
there's
do
something
want
to
to still add
D&D
some of those aspects
with
into it
it's a
later on,
tabletop.
but we want to keep
Like
Yeah.
it
it's a
really
tabletop.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the digital that helped in COVID, and it would help in a situation like ours because we do play with people who are scattered across the country. So I do get a virtual sort of, version of the game, but there's just something to tabletop and like seeing your miniature kind of move and the board and
Right.
I don't know, there's just something more to the traditional way of playing than it is virtual.
Yeah, it's just not the same, for sure.
Exactly. And it is because I mean, I don't know. I guess we come from a generation where even as kids, you had some kind of play set that was kind of how your imagination worked with it, right? It might not have a whole bunch of pieces to it, but I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing. My kids'
And
generation
now,
or whatever really grew up with a computer tablet, that sort of visual play set.
I'm glad I was in the generation that had both. Like I played video games, but I also had like real world tangible stuff.
Well, I'm thinking about
games
the
out in
generation
world,
that's coming where all right, so there's like VR's out there. I even played one of the little VR games when we were on vacation. Now that when that becomes such a norm, or the technology, if it ever did become norm, like think of what the kids are going to end up growing up with and playing with. Like that's their normal sort of stimulation for imagination. Like I said, we had, I'm sure before us, they had damn sticks and rocks. Dana, did you have a rock toy?
I was fortunate. I'm not that old. I was fortunate enough.
That's cold, man. That's cold.
Right? Damn. Jeez.
Yikes.
I'm not that.
Well, I was gonna ask James.
Hey, sticks! Don't knock sticks. Okay, sticks were great. I had sticks, and there was my little machine gun in the woods.
Paper doll. GI Joe.
GI Joe.
Little
Did I
cup with
what?
the ball.
I don't know what came before
the ball.
the cup and the ball, and
yeah.
I mean, we actually had that too, to be fair, because hey, look, I even still had the pogs and stuff. We got that shit
threw me back there. She just threw me back there.
I just don't know what was the
you was with the dinosaurs,
right?
Well, I like the physical pieces because it's more fun when you bring the hammer down on them.
Yeah.
Well, it was so funny when James, when you realized, like, you were like, whose characters are those on the board? And I was like, well, technically they're yours. So I could do stuff with those if you want to. Yeah, I could move them and stuff if you want to. Sure, go ahead. He was like, oh, so I could like flank them and shit. And I was like, you can if you want to. He was like all excited, like, oh, okay, let's play.
It just took a minute. It took a minute. I'm slow, no doubt. I catch on. I catch on.
What was your childhood toy? Like, if you just remember some of the toys you played with as a child.
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Star Wars. I was into Star Wars when I was a kid, I guess. Like the toys.
Like the little
my parents.
figurines.
Yeah, my parents never really got me much on that side of things. But Star Wars toys they would, because they knew I was really into that. So that was about it. And sometimes even when you're not into it anymore, that's all they know. So they still get you Star Wars stuff.
Right, you used to like Star Wars. Let's just now. Could you imagine if you had all those toys to this day? The money
I remember selling them. I remember selling them when I was got out of high school. All my stuff in one lump because this dude came around and I could tell. I was like, after I sold it, it was like, because I was like, I don't want to hang on to this stuff. I was moving around by that time, out of high school, and I was like, I don't want to hang on to all this stuff. And so I sold it to this dude, and I'm like, he knows something. He knows something. And like the next year, the next 3 movies started coming out, so those old Star Wars toys just doubled in value almost.
Right.
Because of that.
Yikes.
If I knew how much my Teddy Ruxpin was going to be worth, I would have told young me, don't play with that toy. Leave it in a box.
Yeah.
Just look at it. Don't play with it. Just look at it and save it. Save it. Fucking Teddy Ruxpin is. I saw that
Or
shit.
you
I was
just
like, you
buy
gotta be
two,
kidding me.
right? You buy one to play with, buy one to keep for
Yes.
selling later. Packaging.
Who would have
That's you
thought?
need the original packaging for sure.
Who would have friggin' thought?
Yeah.
But no, it's just it's gonna be the future is definitely gonna be interesting. So
Definitely.
we shall see. But yeah, I like the whole feel of like a tabletop, like it's a tabletop game. Like that's how it should be presented. I'm not into the whole digital digital Dungeons and Dragons, and I suck at computers anyway, so it wasn't like my like, oh, I gotta figure that out. Yeah, no.
I mostly know D&D from Baldur's Gate, to be perfectly honest with you. So
Oh yeah, no, we played that. We
Oh, you
definitely
did?
played that, and that's
Play the new one?
yep.
Nice.
Uh yes, Miguel and like my cousins, they all I don't play it personally, but I did actually play the original Baldur's Gate with them like back in the
Oh
day.
yeah. The
I
BioWare
was a
ones.
player. I didn't start out DMing. I did play in the beginning before, and then our comic book shop. We got into fourth edition at our comic book shop, and then all of a sudden fifth edition came out, and the comic book shop expected everybody to convert to fifth edition, and we tried fifth edition. I really didn't like it, and but I also was like, we just spent a shit ton of money on getting fourth edition stuff. I'm not now
Yeah.
buying all this shit all over for fucking fifth edition.
They just
And
wanted
then
you to spend more money.
yeah, and then eventually it just started to where I DM'd because the boys we play with, I love them, but they're a handful. And so I started DMing because they started fighting amongst themselves. So it just was so
Oh
I
boy.
just
Drama.
and now yeah, and now I look at people and I'm like, I don't even know what I would do as a player. Like I don't even know. I would be so like, no, I have to be in charge. I can't. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to rebel. I'm going to rebel.
Yeah.
But so we play fourth edition on our chat on this channel, and it's really good. And you can make really good stories with fourth edition. Fifth edition kind of took a lot of the story away, and I think
Oh.
that's what makes D&D. Like it's
Yeah.
yes, the battles, the dragons, all that's well and good, but if it's not a good story, like anything, like the TV shows we watch, I I want a story. Tell me a story. Why am I going to that village? What are we trying to save? A lot of
Role
that in fifth
playing. It's the
edition
whole
is
thing.
almost
Role play. Yeah.
yeah, they dulled it down, and I didn't like it very much.
Yikes. Yeah. Sounds like
But it is
they
the
went the wrong
hardest
way.
edition, so I always tell Scarlet, I'm like, learning fourth edition first, she can pretty much go in now and play any edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Fourth edition is by far the hardest edition to learn because building your character literally is the longest process. And if you could get through character building in fourth edition, you can do any edition of D&D.
Too bad she won't make it out of fourth edition alive.
That's what you think. You know what? I'll let you think whatever you want. And then you underestimate me, and that's exactly what I want you to do.
No, it's going to be interesting. So this we're going to do it like as a season. So this season is definitely going to be the players versus villains because I have a bunch of nice, wonderful, awesome people lined up to play some really awesome villains throughout the campaign. And so it's going to be way more interactive, and the chat's going to be able to play and do things and help make decisions and get involved. So we have some fun stuff lined up for D&D.
Sounds fun.
Yes, and if you'd ever like to dabble, Brian, and become a villain and play on my side, you are more than welcome.
It would be fun. I like I said, I don't have a lot of experience, so I'd have a lot to learn. For
It's
sure.
okay. You literally, I make the characters, so you could ask James. My character sheets are very in depth.
You
And
can
you
do
just
it.
basically
You can do it.
Be on the
You could
good
just-
guy side. Don't let them sway you.
I mean, villain sounds kind of fun, to be honest.
Well,
I mean,
look,
You can do it.
We're
You
not
can do it.
exactly good, okay? We just know that we don't want the
Dana-
whole world to end.
Dana will guide you.
Practice is going to take your power. And you think you're going to get what you want, but in the end, he's going to screw you over like he has everybody else.
I'm feeling the pull of the dark side. I don't know. I think.
All
the
right,
villain
look. When he messes you up, don't come crying to me when he, actually puts you in his dungeon.
Oh
We
man.
will share when
Well,
the
maybe he'll be in my
spoils of
dungeon.
war.
Maybe he'll be
Look,
in my dungeon.
The
We'll
way my
share in the
understanding of
spoils of
Abraxas,
war.
there's not going to be much spoils
Yeah.
left because he's basically wiping out all the worlds.
Well, what I learned from Star Wars is
Good
the
luck
rule
on
of
your
two.
world
So
that's
there can
left
always
over.
be two.
Yeah.
There ain't going to be much left
And,
after he's done.
Oh, don't worry, your pretty little head. I might keep one of your animals
Right?
alive
She's
just
so
for the hell of it.
concerned. She's so concerned.
Yeah, that's it. You know my predictive powers, Dana. I foresaw your man of riddles before we entered that dungeon during the
Okay.
practice.
The riddle.
So she don't want to talk about that. You heard those crickets. See, look, she don't want to talk about how she was smiling and she was like, "Get out of my head, Scarlet." So I already know what's going to happen. Like, the more they talk and the more Abraxas talks about that character sheet, the more I already know what's going to happen.
She's thinking, what would Scarlet not think I was going to do?
Well, see, me and Dana played this game. Look, James, you're new to it. You don't even understand.
Oh, I'm effed.
Like, Dana, go ahead and try to explain to James or back and forth. We're trying to outwit each other, and you keep me out of your head.
Yes. She definitely keeps me on my toes. She definitely keeps me on. She's definitely if I have to outmaneuver anybody, it's her.
Yeah, sounded like
It's
she.
not just me, Dana. It's the dice. We proved it in training. The dice will not allow me to hit anything for shit. But you let me roll any kind of skill check, like perception or anything like magic, anything history. Even if my strength is shit, it'll let me roll a fucking 20. Don't matter if my fucking strength is shit. The dice gonna allow me to do a skill check. Did we not prove it, Dana? Was that not the craziest fucking night?
Yes, it was. She sucked. She couldn't hit for shit, but she hit on all her skill checks, and that basically is prying information out of me. So that's the ones I want to fail most.
Kind of like she was trying to do it in NASA.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that tomorrow night.
You failed at the skill
The
check.
boys are easy.
I didn't fail. Actually, no. I think I got all the answers I needed, and we'll talk about why I feel like I got everything I needed. James,
a non-answer is an answer.
Well, it ain't just that. It was the creepy dude and some other things too from the cassette. Look, I don't want to talk about too much. You know, they might actually be listening.
Spoilers.
I don't know.
Yeah, spoilers. You can't spoil.
We did get to see something that was supposed to be exclusive to one of the missions going to the moon. Got to see a piece of it. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging with us.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
So much.
Go check out James and Brian.
Thank you.
On their channels.
Definitely. I will be collaborating, doing more stuff. We got From coming up. We got so much stuff coming up. So this is not going to be the last you see of us on panel. We'll come back and do some stuff and have some fun. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us during this season 2 of Dead City and The Last of Us. And hopefully the next show we cover, we're at least going to be excited about. So I have faith in Alice in Borderland. I have faith. We're going to be a little more excited for that one. But thank you guys so much. And thank you to my panel. You guys always rock. And
thank you. It was a lot of fun, as always.
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
See you guys on the next one. Bye.
Yep. See you guys tomorrow night.
Bye-bye.